Poor Google. They can't do anything because the government doesn't make them.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, August 11th, 2013. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination Episode 538.
This is No Agenda.
Dodging the Austin false flags here in the Travis Heights Hideout. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where I'm just in Northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Wow. Probably the most uncoordinated opening we've ever done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, no, you're more than welcome.
I was trying to make it a little different.
Yes. Well, you know, because you get emails about this stuff if you don't do that. And people are like, you're phoning it in. You're just phoning it in.
Phoning it. I'm always, hey, technically, that's what I'm doing.
Yes.
If you think about it.
It's Skype, so you are technically...
Skype, I'm Skyping it in.
You are totally phoning it in. Now, I got to tell you, there's something very strange going on here, John.
With your email?
Yeah, well, the email...
And by the way, I never got my spreadsheet from Eric.
It's funny. He says that he sent it out at 1 a.m. I didn't receive it.
Oh, 1 a.m. Well, it might be in way back.
It might be in the 1 a.m.
I mean, 1
folder.
a.m.
Yeah.
is 200 emails ago for me.
Well, so I
think I'm kidding.
I've rebuilt my mail server, and which is it's kind of it's an apropos topic which you can certainly get into regarding the lava bit shutdown and what is it, silent circle and blue square and red triangle, and what are these email services, by the way? What is lava bit? so
I can't keep up. People are like, wow, you're always the key to keeping up is to ignore stuff for a while because most of it fails within months.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that old lava thing. Oh, what was that? Yeah, lava. Well, lava bit, of course, folded. We already folded.
But
so
hold
it's
on
like,
a second. But hold on. But the claim, which, as far as I know, has not been substantiated by anyone. The claim is that purported whistleblower Edward Snowden used LavaBit as his email provider. I don't even know if that's true. I mean, have we seen any emails that show that he used LavaBit, and was LavaBit so great?
Well, no. and LavaBit shuttered.
And the thing is like, this is not about, using encrypted services. This is about decentralization. This is the point that I think a lot of people are missing, where, we have to encrypt everything. Yeah, of course you want to encrypt as much as you can. Of course you want to, slow down the government as much as possible and at least attempt or make some attempt at privacy. But much more important is you don't want to put all of your crap in one single point of failure. This is the mistake that people keep on doing. Like, whoa, what email provider should I use? Well, none. Learn how to set up an email server. Did you hear about? I heard about this great thing today, which now it's not. It's really like alpha stage. There's no like clickable installs. It's called BitMessage. Mm-hmm. And the idea is it's very much like Bitcoin, where you have one basically one long blockchain of messages. A
pyramid scheme for email.
No. But the idea is that your email address becomes essentially one just like a BitTorrent address. But it's encrypted on both ends by default, and there's no central service. It just kind of rolls out there, and if within 2 days you haven't acknowledged that you received the email, then the system deletes it. And so it's kind of a mind-boggling concept of how to send messages. But what's extra special about it is there's a proof of work, just like Bitcoin. So it's unattractive for spammers.
Yeah, I would think.
And so I'm like, after the show, I'm going to install it because you need Python and you got to. It's early days, but the idea, just like we're using this BitTorrent sync, which seems to be the future of distribution of media, as far as I'm concerned. If you haven't used this, on every single show notes page, at the bottom there we have a little new exclamation mark. A BitTorrent sync, and you just set up a folder on any of your computers, and then even before it hits the RSS feed, you get the show. It just appears on your desktop without any other company kind of in the middle. So this is the same with this BitMessage. I'm really liking this. This is the way to go. Just everything kind of in a BitTorrent like protocol, and then everything else will just fall apart, I guess.
Well, I like the BitTorrent sync idea, and I think people should definitely play with that because it might be the future, especially when they shut this. When somebody finally says, these guys have been kind of amusing for a while.
But they're getting on my nerves.
Kick out of. You get a kick out of these guys, Bill? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
Shut them down.
Why take a chance?
Why take a chance? Exactly. Well, I think this might have happened, John. Remember when I got back? We got back Tuesday late night. Wednesday, I had a little time to prepare the show. Then Thursday, we did the show. And the first clip I had for you was of this drill in Austin where, we're Department of Homeland Security, we're, terror drill. Do not be alarmed if you see more the police and Department of Homeland Security forces on the streets. And we kind of joked about it. What is always the number one thing that happens when we have a drill?
There's usually a coincidental terror attack.
Yeah, the real thing usually takes place. So the Austin Underground has been freaking out over the past couple days because the Texas military forces, I didn't even know what that was initially, but it is
probably National Guard.
It's kind of like a National Guard unit. They sent out a special threat advisory for the Austin area.
Oh.
And this thing...
what a coinkydink.
Well, there's a couple of things going on with this because... first let me read some of the pieces of it to you, and then I'll tell you what happened, which is even crazier. So this is from it's a Force Protection Alert Special Threat Advisory. Subject, possible terrorist threat to venues in Austin, Texas in August.
Your address was listed.
And this is Austin, people. This is Austin. All right. Unconfirmed reporting from the Department of Homeland Security has raised the possibility of random terrorist attacks taking place. Random terrorist attacks taking place in Austin, Texas on or about the 8th or 9th of August. So this is like they have a date. According to...
Wasn't that just maybe that was for the test?
Well, but there's something that's something weird about this.
Okay.
Let me read the rest. According to anonymous reporting, a group of trained terrorists are planning to conduct attacks in Austin, Texas, and Pasadena, California, at the conclusion of the Ramadan period. Now, this has been the narrative for a while. Like, after Ramadan, they're gonna. It's fighting season commence or whatever bull crap. I mean, does anyone still believe that people, what is this? That the terrorists, Al Qaeda hates Austin because of our freedoms? Is that what it is? Really? You got to come to Austin, Texas?
Absolutely.
I mean,
they're trying to kill you.
Okay. The Ramadan period lasts from 9 July to 8 August. According to reporting, the Austin group plans to plant backpack-style bombs. Notice the word bombs. IED has gone away. They've gone back to bombs. I'm seeing this everywhere. The IED thing wasn't sticking. People couldn't remember what it was. Backpack-style bombs on 6th Street. Was it East or West 6th Street? Either
makes
on...
a difference. It makes a huge difference. Yeah. By the way, I think it's because IED never got... People always thought of it as some sort of a ad-lib piece of crap. They'd never seen one of them. I mean, these things are nasty because they're made... And the ones in the Middle East, we should remind people, are made from our own minds.
Yeah, from our
that
own
we've
stuff.
Placed all over the place, and these guys go out,
dig them up, and use the explosives.
And carefully take out the explosive pack, and then make a bomb.
Okay, so it's 6th Street, either 8th or 9th of August. Additionally, here it comes. The group plans to attack a school and theological seminary in the downtown Austin area and complete the attack with operations...
But this is you're reading from The Onion.
No. And complete the attack with operations at the Austin Bergstrom International Airport. I'm saying there were...
Okay, hold on. Yeah. Can I ask you? Let me ask you the rhetorical question.
Yes.
If you know all these details, that means you obviously have a mole... I mean, the guy, I think this is all bogus, by the way, but I'm just saying for rhetorical purposes, if you know all these details, then you obviously have a mole in the operation, or you're linked in, you're on the phone with these guys, you're listening in carefully, which seems unlikely, or you have a bug in the room. Yeah. Under any of these circumstances, that means you know who these people are. Just go stop them.
Check it out. The reporting also stated that if 8th and 9th August was not a viable option, then the group would conduct operations on the 29th of August. They had a backup date. So they're going to blow up something on Dirty 6.
And by the way, they didn't.
No. Well, and here's why. Listen to this. This is KXAN. This is the local Austin news station.
We want to clear the air about something that's causing a big buzz on social media out there.
Oh, it's a big buzz. It was a big buzz on social media. Yeah. Hello. Austin was being attacked.
There. Reports of a possible threat in downtown Austin. Now, earlier this week, we confirmed that patrol supervisors at the Austin Police Department were briefed on the matter. And the reason that we're bringing this up in the first place, again, is that someone released an official memo that they shouldn't have.
Okay, so here's the narrative. This memo that I'm holding in my hands, well, virtually, was released by accident.
And that has caused fresh worries.
Yeah.
Robert
Yes.
Maxwell reports.
All right, Robert Maxwell. Now they've turned it into a lifestyle story. It's really fun.
Far-fetched, but at the same time, you begin to think, well, who knows?
Greg Lane works on 6th Street, where his office mates were chattering Thursday about the military's so-called Force Protection Alert memo they saw on social media. Search Austin Threat on Twitter, for example, and several related posts pop up. KXAN confirmed the memo is real, meant for certain eyes only. We won't show you details since Texas military forces told us Thursday the memo was sent out last week in error and later rescinded.
Okay. So so there's a lot going on here. First of all, we won't show you the memo. I have the memo right here. You can download it from a million places. But, we can't show you the memo. It was sent in error. So what do you think this is?
What do I think it is?
Yeah. Besides,
you're asking me?
You can't, and bullcrap. You can't just say bullcrap.
I have a thought on it.
All right, please.
It was I think this may have been the setup for a
false flag.
Why are you asking me if you're going to answer?
I'm sorry.
I think it's a setup for a false flag. And by the way, it pretty much coincides with the 6-week cycle.
This is what I was so afraid of.
And
it is almost a 6-week cycle to the T, which would be today, right? Today would be the 11th.
It would be today begins the end of the cycle, so something should happen this week. But now we have to start the clock over because if this was a setup for a false flag, because this bull crap what you just told me, I mean they would know everything. They know too much, and so this was the memo that was setting it up. Let's say, but once the memo leaked out, they had to kill the process. They had to kill it. Dead.
So here's the thinking in the Austin alternative media. By
the way, this story never got out here.
Now, please, and even though it does list Pasadena, I don't know why it lists Pasadena. Maybe that's the backup. Maybe it's Pasadena on the 29th, but that's not a 6-week cycle.
No, they can't do anything now on the 29th. No, they can't. This is scrubbed. Hello, scrub.
Get rid of it. The thinking is that it was a whistleblower inside the system who saw this coming, who was like, "Oh no, you didn't," and then released. But of course, these things get released. That's traceable as to who released this, how this got out.
If you really know how to cover your tracks, I think you can do it. Now, there's a couple of things people have to know out there. One of them is all printers have a code on them. So when you print from your Epson or your LaserJet, there is
But this is a digital release, John. There's no.
Okay, well, okay.
But it's a PDF, so if it was done on an official...
PDFs have all kinds of data in them. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to do these things over and over on different machines, go to the library, run the PDF.
You got to roll it in the mud, stomp on it a bit.
You got to do stuff. You got to muddy it up.
So again, the conversation that we need to have, as the president would say, is why? Why Austin? That's so unbelievable. There's
got to be a reason for Austin.
Zero credibility. San Antonio is a military target, maybe. But Austin, the only thing I can think of is Austin, it's filled with sensitive gay people.
No,
like
they're
myself.
Not going to blow up sensitive gay people.
Yes, it works. It's good. Yes, we're a sensitive, LGBT blue oasis in the red state. Everyone knows Austin is great, but we've never been there. And quite honestly,
I don't know. Maybe it's to get the liberals back on board.
Yeah. Possibly.
So what are we going to do? These liberals are falling off the boat here. They're all irked about
angry.
This Snowden thing. What are we going to do? Let's shake them up.
Yeah, let's hit them. Let's hit them in liberal central. I know, Austin. But because the believability of Al Qaeda going, I mean, this is just as believable as Kim Jong-un wanting to bomb Austin. Are you kidding me? It makes no sense.
I bet you that was the trigger for the memo.
Very possible. Very possible.
Well, you know, if Kim Jong-un thinks Austin is a target, let's make Austin a target.
So, yeah, of course, this is no national news coverage on this, but I think this is pretty big, particularly the coincidence of having the drill take place at the exact same moment when apparently law enforcement knew we had a possible terror event taking place.
Yeah,
we're sitting ducks here.
Well, I think you've dodged a bullet. Whoever the whistleblower was, who wisely released that memo into the public domain and then headed for cover, I would hope.
Yeah, I hope so too.
That guy is a patriot
or gal.
Or gal. Could have been a gal. Could have been a sensitive woman.
Well, that actually does prove what Austin is all about.
So, well, you mentioned Snowden. It made me think of something I want to discuss before I forget about it, because I did have a clip some weeks ago about this, but I just found this very peculiar. We talked about it a little bit off the show, and I think that's probably why we haven't brought it up, which was Snowden's girlfriend.
Yeah, Snowden, the stripper girlfriend, as Jay Leno calls it. The stripper
girlfriend. She's actually a ballerina, it appears. And
whoa! Wait a minute. She's a ballerina. She's not. Let me just get the ballerina.
She's
stripper.
a dancer.
But is she a ballerina or a pole dancer?
Well, the one picture of her that's on one of the magazines is she's in a tutu and she's got her leg bent all the hell.
Well, no, that doesn't mean you're not a stripper.
And she's always she's in her bare feet, so those other things. She's not in heels ever, that I can tell. And I've looked at her pictures.
Well, yeah, no heels,
and she looks
stripper.
like a spook.
Right.
She has that.
But have we seen her interviewed anywhere?
No, and here's the thing. Here's the story that I got off of the local station in Hawaii. So they had this place, a cute little place. The clip's not going to tell you any more than I'm going to tell you. But it's a cute little corner house with that. As soon as this thing broke, the house is immediately up for sale with a for sale sign. The place is vacated. The neighbors say that weeks before the Snowden thing came out, the garage was filled with boxes, up covering the windows of the garage door. The garage door has those little windows at the top. And the neighbors were wondering what was going on, why all these boxes were in there. And then just like almost overnight, he's gone, she's gone, the boxes are gone, and the house is up for sale.
Huh.
And a cute little house, a little ranch-style place in Hawaii, and she's apparently gone. She's in California somewhere, they believe. Nobody's gotten in touch with her.
So hold on. So you're telling me?
By the way, California. The first thing I thought was, University of California. She's going to go.
Right. Yeah, she's going to go to your neck of the woods there, hang out with
she's
Lucy.
Probably right down the street.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I found that very
I find it as for the amount of coverage this.
And wait. Here's another one. Apparently, after this whole thing broke, you'd think there would be a bunch of agents crawling all over the place. No, nobody ever saw anybody.
For the amount of coverage this story has received, you'd think that there would be at least one journalistic outfit that would be like, hey, I know. Hey, let me pitch this story to you. You go into the editor's office. I got a story. Let's go find the ballerina stripper girlfriend. I bet she's got quite a story. This apparently is not happening.
There was an interview with her, a couple, right after the thing broke, and she was just kind of, I
don't even remember that. I've only seen like the picture of her in the tutu.
There's an interview with her. She's going, I'm like a ship without a rudder, and and that's the end of it. She doesn't say anything.
That is when either of us dies. The other is a ship without a rudder,
or killed.
So I just got on the back channel. Here's the reason the terrorists want to kill us, according to Kaiser Alexander, is that that's the they in the sky, want to implement Sharia law. That is now the threat, according to
Kaiser Alexander.
I think he might have.
They want to implement Sharia law.
I think he might. That sounds like something he might have done.
That canard is getting a little old.
Yeah, you think? So I can see from the clip list that, and we got to do some coordination. You know, we both, of course, watched the President Obama presser.
Yeah, I knew you'd watch that, but I took some clips just in case. And, by the way, we do get slightly different opinions from these clips.
We do. But since you did your clips last time...
Yeah, no, you're on.
Okay,
take it.
Here we go. So,
I'll just back you up with backup.
Right, in case I missed something. But I do think I have a kind of a gem in here that now obviously very similar to the Jay Leno Tonight Show appearance. This is pretty much bullcrap.
Totally.
Right. But I think I discovered something. I'm going to get everything all set up here so I have it. Yeah.
All right. I got my 2 wow clips, too.
Well, this is not so much a wow clip as, what Adam does best is, go in and read something and find out what the truth is behind the statement.
Oh, okay. This is your thing.
This is my thing. So let's start off, though, with just the beginning of the presser.
Everybody, please have a seat.
All right. Have a seat, everybody. All right, thank you. Yeah. What?
Seat.
Seat. Yeah.
Over the past few weeks, I've been talking about what I believe should be our number one priority as a country.
Okay.
Building a better bargain for the middle class.
There we go. It's the number one. We've gone out to the number one priority is a better bargain for the middle class, which I think
I didn't know that they were in negotiations.
Well, no, I think that it's available at Costco.
Is the middle class in negotiations? Yes or no?
Yes. And the bargain is available at Costco this week, aisle 13.
And for Americans who want to work their way into the middle class. At the same time, I'm focused on my number one responsibility as Commander-in-Chief. And that's keeping the American people safe.
No, I'm sorry. I
saw that coming.
Well, you rang the bell. I'm sorry, Mr. President. I have to say one more time, your number one priority is not to protect the American people. It is to uphold, defend, and protect the Constitution. That is the oath that you took. At no point did you say, I, Barack Hussein Obama, swear to protect the American people. By the way, you learned this from your idol, George W. Bush, who, of course, learned it from his predecessor, which was George W. Clinton and George H. Bush before you. It's the biggest lie in American presidential politics. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I just pulled a couple of quotes that really irritate me while we're on the Constitution. Of course, the president talked about a number of things. The main focus was about him explaining, which kind of justifies the whole Snowden deal, by the way, that the president now has to come out and say, well, let me explain, and we're gonna maybe change a few things, make it a little clearer. So, obviously, whoever was behind the release of the documents, this is justification because here's the president actually explaining himself. But there's some words he uses that just irritate me.
And they will provide an interim report in 60 days and a final report by the end of this year.
This is the transparency report that's going to be provided.
So that we can move forward with a better understanding of how these programs impact our security, our privacy, and our foreign policy.
Okay.
So all these steps are designed to ensure that the American people can trust that our efforts are in line with our interests and our values.
Our values? I'm looking for another word.
And to others around the world, I want to make clear, once again, that
what a performative that is, huh? I want to make clear once again.
America is not interested in spying on ordinary people. Our intelligence is focused above all on finding the information that's necessary to protect our people and, in many cases, protect our allies.
So what the word he's not using is Constitution, and we've heard this from him before. He's replacing the word Constitution with our values. It's not the same thing, and it's quite frankly, for a constitutional law professor to speak this way is quite offensive. But have no worry, because the fix is clear, and the way he even says what he's going to do, he's so excited about it.
Number 3, we can and must be more transparent. So I've directed the intelligence community to make public as much information about these programs as possible. We've already declassified unprecedented information.
Now he's as bad as the guy that called in on that question and answer show. Unprecedented.
Right.
The script is bad at this point.
About the NSA, but we can go further. So at my direction, the Department of Justice will make public the legal rationale for the government's collection activities under Section 215 of the Patriot Act.
Wait for it.
The NSA is taking steps to put in place a full-time civil liberties and privacy officer.
Wait for it.
And released information that details its mission, authorities, and oversight.
We're getting excited.
And finally, the intelligence community is creating a website that will serve as a hub for further transparency.
A website!
That'll do it. That's what we wanted.
Will
a website.
Will it have an RSS feed?
By the way, there has always been a full-time civil liberties privacy officer that should have been, that Obama has, as a position Obama has not filled for almost 2 years.
No, but now he's like, he's doing,
now it's like he's new.
He's created it. Yes. Well, so here, I did 2 more clips, and of course then, I'm going to hammer it home. But so again, the words really matter. And the words in this sentence, I'm just flabbergasted.
And we've tried to set up a system that is as fail-safe as, so far at least, we've been able to think of, to make sure that these programs are not abused.
Okay.
But people may have better ideas.
Okay. What could those better ideas? What does a better and this is the most powerful man in the world, the leader of the free world. And when it comes to really doing the best that you can do, the verb is...
And people may want to jigger slightly.
Okay. We may want to jigger slightly.
Sort of the
I almost laughed when I heard that. But jiggers. You got to jigger there. Yeah, it's like the toilet
the
flusher.
Handle.
Hey, what's wrong with the toilet?
Jigger the
handle. Jigger the handle.
But what are we actually jiggering?
Jigger slightly. Sort of the balance between the information that we can get versus the incremental encroachments on privacy that, if haven't already take place.
Okay, hold on a second. So we can jigger the information we can get, the balance between the information we can get and the increasing encroachments. It used to be moderate. Now it's increasing encroachments upon your privacy. He is saying it.
Yeah.
He is just saying it.
I got some similar clips where he's just... doesn't know it, but he's saying it. He's telling us the truth.
All right. Now this actually came up on the Leno show, and it took some help from a couple of our producers actually, for me to go in and look at the presidential policy directive. But here's the lie.
So the fact is that Mr. Snowden's been charged with.
Now this is the question: is he a patriot? Is he a traitor? Is he a full running back?
3 felonies. If, in fact, he believes that what he did was right, then, like every American citizen, he can come here, appear before the court with a lawyer, and make his case. If the concern was that somehow this was the only way to get this information out to the public, I signed an executive order well before Mr. Snowden leaked this information.
Okay. So that is,
I know where this is headed.
Okay, so let's read a little bit from and by the way, it was not an executive order. So that is lie number 1. This was a presidential policy directive, which is not exactly the same as...
No, it's not at all. It's nothing like it.
And no one calls the president out on this. So this is the presidential...
And by the way, he said this more than a few times.
Yes. So this is the... unless I'm missing an executive order, he is referring to the Presidential Policy Directive PPD 19, subject protecting whistleblowers with access to classified information. And I'll just read you the preamble. This presidential policy directive ensures that employees, 1, serving in the intelligence community, or 2, who are eligible for access to classified information, that's you, John, can effectively report waste, fraud, and abuse while protecting classified national security information. It prohibits retaliation against employees for reporting waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay. So he's saying, I signed this before Snowden did anything, so this is he had a way to go. Well, Mr. President, you signed this presidential policy directive as is published in the Federal Register on October 10th, 2012. However, if any members of the press corps who are sitting there waiting for their name to be called with their prepared question had taken the time to read the document, you would see that it states the following. Within 270 days of the date of this directive, That would be October 10, 2012. The head of each intelligence community element shall certify to the Director of National Intelligence, DNI, that the personnel policies that apply to that element provide a process for employees to seek a review of personnel actions they allege to be in violation of this directive, and that the review process is consistent with the requirements of this directive. If you take October 10th, 2012 to the date when the policies needed to be in place, namely 270 days, that would be July 7th, 2013. Several months after Snowden went to Laura Poitras and the shills of that little club who published the information. To make it worse, within 365 days of the date of this directive, the DNI shall, in consultation with the Secretary of Defense, Attorney General, and the heads of agencies containing intelligence community elements, issue policies and procedures for ensuring that all employees serving in the intelligence community elements are aware of the protections and review processes available to individuals who make protected disclosures. That isn't even due until October 10th, 2013. So while, yes, you signed the document, Mr. President, these policies were not in place, not published, and not even marketed to the intelligence community.
That'd have been clip of the day.
But it wasn't a clip.
Just make you clip of the day for today.
And
excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, thank you. But it's just nutty. Thank you, Scott Brandy, by the way. Producer Scott. It's crazy. That he can say this stuff and no. Look, I don't expect Jay Leno to do it, but when you
Jay Leno's reading from a script.
Yeah, but when the entire press corps is sitting there, and again he's just saying, "Hey, I signed an executive order, no presidential policy directive," and it doesn't take effect. I mean, the actual knowledge of this. So Snowden could not have actually known of it officially until 365 days after the order, because that's when it's supposed to be in place.
Yeah, well, there you have it. That summarizes the No Agenda show.
Well, and this
what does it take to do this?
I clicked on a link.
What did it take you? Once your nose started sniffing around, what did this take you? 40 minutes?
14.
Well, hey, are you hanging out at the Washington Press Club, lifting a few with the boys and chatting it up?
I'm not getting my dick sucked or anything.
That's the problem. That's the problem with these Washington
At least
guys.
not in the press club.
They're sucking each other, apparently.
It is so. So John and I rarely speak offline. But we did have a little back and forth, and I can't remember what it was. A quick email. And I said, "Boy, I can't wait until the next Obama bot dinner here, because we're hosting it this time. This is our dinner party, and it's going to be the 30th." I said, "I can't wait, because it's so funny to see people freaking out. Real liberal, on-board Democrat, Obama bots going, the brain is scrambled."
That's the beginning of the show. That sound. That's a good sound. You should clip it.
Let me write it down. Hold on a second. 34. That's the beginning of the show.
But you could just see somebody having their brains scrambled. That would be the noise they make.
But the conversation was how, I think it was actually more, about I think we kind of agree that, now that everyone's brain is scrambled, particularly in Austin, that it'll all be about the Russian gay laws.
Yeah, they're going to be all preoccupied with the Russian gays.
We just have to focus on something.
Anything but talking about this Obama thing, the police state.
And then we see, so what it is, these are Cold War tactics. And here's the crux of the conversation. I said, how do these guys actually think that they can use the same tired policies of Cold War propaganda in the internet age? And John's response appropriately was, I think we can make the argument that it's the best time to use Cold War propaganda in the internet age, because you can propagate this crap all over the place, and people will just, what? By the time it bubbles up to your Facebook news feed, it's true.
Mimi said that she decided to go like a week without reading any news or listening to any reports, and only go by the news she received on Facebook.
This is a brave woman, by the way. Is she still there? Is she?
Yeah, she's still here.
A brave woman. How did it work out?
She said she almost lost her mind. It's like hoaxes and bullcrap, and people don't know what they're talking about, and people getting all willy-nilly over the craziest things and freaking out and holding their, you can imagine people with both their hands on the side of their cheeks with their mouth open and screaming.
Like Macaulay Culkin, you mean?
Yeah, the Macaulay Culkin look and all that. It's insanity.
What did she learn, though? How did she?
Nothing. She learned not to do that again.
This is a very interesting experiment. People should try it. In fact, I will be the first to say, do not listen to the No Agenda show for a week. Only go by your Facebook and your Twitter feed, and then come back to us and see how it worked out. I think
they'll probably forget about. They're probably stop listening to the show and go into check into an insane asylum.
No, I think we are. I feel strong enough to tell people that you should absolutely try to go without the show. That's a good idea.
Now, some people have done that, and then they come back, and then they're very happy to at least get some grasp of reality.
But there's
against
also
the blatant, ridiculous lying that's going on by this administration and the previous one,
and the press. Yeah, and thank you. It's not just this administration. This administration,
the previous one, and probably the one before that, the Clinton administration. For sure, I did not have sex with that woman. Yeah. You have that clip? It's one of my favorites.
All of this, every analysis I read of this goes back to the big. So I'm almost done with This Town, which is the outstanding book about Washington. There's a reason why you're not hearing about this book, because it is, it's so unbelievable how it's just like Hollywood, and by the way, the book actually says that, this Washington or politics is show business for ugly people, but that is, a really old and tired saying and blah, blah, whatever. And the guy admits up front that he's elitist and he's in this trap himself. Yeah. But no one can talk about this book because it is so bizarre. So bizarre, the parties and the power, and particularly the money. But everyone relates this money back to the Clintons. When the Clintons came in, that's when it just went off the wall. And, of course, the Obamas came in. And, there's this short period where they were better than, holier than thou. There'll be no lobbyists. And what happened is everyone became what is known as an unregistered lobbyist, i.e. a consultant. So now we have the idea of putting transparency into Washington has resulted in less transparency because now people I'm not a lobbyist. I'm a consultant, yo. It's just everybody's consulting for somebody on something and left or right, and it's like $4 billion a year goes to lobbying. $4 billion. We're moving to D.C. This is money central. It's mind-boggling to me, and how the press, because this whole book revolves around Tim Russert after he dies, and it's the funeral and everything. And how that turns into a lobbying moment.
Yeah, I love that.
But even Tim Russert, it's all a big club. And as George Carlin would say, we're not in it, right. Not even near to it. Anyway, so just a couple of things that came out. So the NSA also came out with this document, which is kind of.
What it reminds me of, by the way, because I just had this thought. It reminds me of kind of that Palm Beach set. Or is it East Palm Beach? That little enclave in Florida with all these rich people.
Oh, is it Palm Beach?
Yeah, it's Palm Beach, Florida, or East Grove? Palm Beach, or West Palm Beach, or one of this. Very specific.
Where everyone wears.
It's an enclave of mansions, and there's lots of them. There's 100 or more, maybe 1,000. And these people go, and it's like it's an inbred bunch of. The discreet charm of the bourgeoisie parties, and everybody shows off, and the debutante balls, and it's like it becomes its own thing to the point where you read about it, and there's the most famous people in this, and everyone falls, they have to, kiss their butts. You never heard of any of them because it is bull crap.
Right.
It's just it's a bubble within a bubble. It's just weird. Anyway, it just reminds me. I think the Washington D.C. party scene's got to be very similar.
I was thinking. I'm actually just scrolling through my Kindle for a second. You know what? Maybe on Thursday's show I'll read a passage or two from the book. Find
a couple spots.
It's really quite worth it. It's just it's or better yet, go out and read the book. I mean, it's a good book. I was just going to say one thing. Well, just going to say one thing before you move on, because the NSA, of course, also came out. This is all timed perfectly with the NSA story. In which, and this has been debunked all over the web, and this is its purpose, is to have, Salon and Daily Kos and, Zero Hedge. Everybody has to go and pick this thing apart, but, you're spinning your wheels. It's like throw some cheese into the hamster wheel, I'm gonna run some more. So the only thing I'd like to say about it is that the NSA, and this is just a little bit of a math trick that they're doing. They're saying we only monitor 1.6% of all internet traffic, which is meant to make you believe that it's a very small percentage. But internet traffic, you can read the amount of emails you could read to equal the same amount of quote unquote traffic as to downloading one No Agenda show is of course staggering. It could be 6 months of email is one No Agenda show. So for them to say, it's only 1.6% of all internet traffic.
Yeah, it's misleading.
If you ignore Netflix, which is, I think, isn't Netflix, it's just a number people throw out there. But
if you combine Netflix with illegal MP3 downloading, there's 95% of all your traffic right there.
Yeah, I don't even think it's MP3 download. I think it's Netflix and the same movies on torrent. It's basically
same thing. Yeah. Whatever. Just downloading.
90% of the internet is essentially the movie industry.
So, which reminds me.
Wait a minute. Hey, man, BitTorrents can be used to distribute Linux.
Which reminds me of this. I got a little pet peeve I'll throw in since we're talking about bandwidth.
I just love saying that.
So do you remember the era where you had a blog and then so you linked to somebody else's picture and then posted it on your blog?
Yeah.
Which is very common. And people used to complain. They don't complain about it much anymore because nobody cares because all your bandwidth is pretty...
Hey, man, you're stealing my bandwidth.
You're stealing my bandwidth. And they used to, a lot of people would swap out a picture and put a goatsy picture, something obscene.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. We forgot porn.
Yeah, porn, it does account for a lot of it.
All right, there we go.
Bullcrap. Well, they're probably catching that too. They they're bored.
That's probably what they're doing. That's probably
that's the 1.5.
Yeah, right. What is the other stuff?
Look at this. Can you believe she can bend that way?
She's squirting.
So anyway, excuse me.
Sorry.
So let me get it. So anyway, so I one of my machines now when I shut it down every night. And this harkens back to one years ago when I was at Mevio and I had this Macintosh and I'd always shut it down and you'd always be bitching about the Mac crash. I said, my machine never crashes.
Right.
You said, yes, because you shut it down all the time.
Right.
So I started shutting down my machine because I noticed I'd go into sleep mode and I'd wake up in the morning to wake the machine up and there was a blue screen of death across the machine.
Yeah.
How does this even happen? So I shut the machine down every night. Mm-hmm. So then when I boot it, I boot it, and then I go downstairs and eat something, and then I come back, and then I open up, I do a Control-Alt-Delete, and then I start pulling off, I go to the Windows Task Manager, and I pull off bullcrap processes one by one.
Oh, yeah, and like iTunes Launcher.
Yes, and iTunes Monitor, and Apple something or other, and all these other crazy things.
Yeah.
So I pull these things out like crazy, and so I end up with like about 12 or 13 things working. It's all that's working. And I was thinking to myself, and when I'm pulling them off, I'll see something like the Microsoft Sync protocol or something, and it's pounding the system.
That's for your Palm Pilot.
So, or the Zune. There's a Zune thing, too, that shows up. So I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. This has been going on forever. So I download somebody's I link to somebody's crappy photo on their blog, which shows up basically nothing. And in the background on that same machine that the guy's griping about stealing bandwidth, the Microsoft and all these operations are just sucking them dry, and they don't bitch about that.
There's this, I got it for the Mac. It's called Little Snitch. Have you heard of this?
No, I have not.
I'm sure there's a Windows equivalent. Little Snitch is this program that sits there and just tells you what is communicating to where.
Oh, nice.
My God. The Chrome especially.
Oh yeah, Chrome is horrible.
And it's just, and all these things, and you're blown away by and you're like, oh yeah, I remember installing that. What? It's doing that? And there is so much stuff, and you almost can't believe that computers ran without the internet these days. There's so much going on. So much.
Yeah, well, anyway, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it harkens back to these guys, you're stealing my bandwidth. It's illegal. Meanwhile, their bandwidth is shot because of all this crap.
I'm going to sue you.
Yeah, you get it every once in a while somebody thinks that's a good idea. So I got a couple of Obama reveals. And you can listen to these clips. It's from the same press conference. I X'd out the ones that you already rolled.
It's okay. I'm
Obama, should you be concerned? The wow clip, and this is
yes.
like, okay, let's listen to Obama actually telling us the truth.
Can I just say something? I had the clip, but I left it for you.
Thank you.
And those abuses would be against the law and would be against the orders of the FISC. Having said that, though, if you are outside of the intelligence community, if you are the ordinary person and you start seeing a bunch of headlines saying, U.S., Big Brother, looking down on you, collecting telephone records, etc., well, understandably, people would be concerned. I would be, too, if I wasn't inside the government.
Where I'm saying...
What is he saying?
He's
saying he, the president, knowing what he knows, would also be concerned.
Unless he wasn't president.
Yeah. Thank you for telling us that.
Yeah, I'm actually going to put that in our evergreens. I think it's an evergreen worthy, because it's one of those things that goes along with this one from Thursday.
We're going to live our lives, and the odds of people dying in a terrorist attack obviously are still a lot lower than in a car accident, unfortunately.
Sure.
But
yeah, unless you're in Austin.
Now, part 2 of this, he does it again. This is the Obama, the part 2. We can
do it better.
Do this better, yeah.
And so, in light of the changed environment where a whole set of questions have been raised, some in the most sensationalized manner possible, where these leaks are released drip by drip, one a week to kind of maximize attention and see if they can catch us at some imprecision on something. In light of that, it makes sense for us to go ahead, lay out what exactly we're doing, have a discussion with Congress, have a discussion with industry, which is also impacted by this, have a discussion with the civil libertarians, and see, can we do this better?
He's saying we spy better, which is kind of links to that clip that you had.
Yes,
where he says it's we're doing more of this. Can we do this better? Because obviously we're not doing it good enough. We're not spying well enough.
And and I have a new heading in the show notes called fascism. I thought I tried to come up with something cute and no, let's just call it fascism. On this, what is it? August 7th. Tim Cook. Vint Cerf, a couple of guys from Microsoft, everyone, TechNet, Tech America, they all went and had a private meeting with the president, about how they can do it better. I denounce. Go up and buy. I denounce Apple. Go up and buy anything. And by the way, there's plenty of reason. Did you see? So. I think there's even a topic on Twitter. And it should come up again today. I don't know if you're on the show or not, but
no.
So we there was this thing where it was the administration overturned an import ban regulation because of the Apple Samsung lawsuit. And by the way, I read through the documentation, which is very disappointing of a technology show that no one had actually done that. And if you read the description of the laws under which those import restrictions were posted, it is actually good for American business to there's for certain types of patents and for broad patents that everyone needs, it's correct for the administration or the president to say, hey, we vetoed this. You guys still have to work it out. Money still has to be paid. But you have to be able to continue production. But now the tables are turned, and the administration and the United States are actually banning Samsung products from coming in. And so to then have Tim Cook show up and do a little private thing with the president is fascistic. And it's becoming obvious.
And we got a note from some guy saying, yes, it's not fascism. And he went on and on with some sort of, I don't know, half-baked right-wing theory he picked up. According to my researcher, I have a private researcher on the site. He says he just got this from the National Review. But
I feel scorned. You have a private researcher on the side? You're cheating on me.
I do now, yes.
You're cheating on me.
So anyway, this the difference between the communists. So the communists were exactly the same. The communists nationalized everything. There was no private companies in the Stalin era. They were all Russian companies. Everything was owned by the Russians. In the Nazi fascist era, they were, all the corporations were still private companies, but they were co-opted completely, and they were working with the government. And that's really the key.
And that is really what we've learned about this. And then you get douchebags like Jeff Jarvis, who then goes in The Guardian, and did you read this piece that he wrote in The Guardian?
No.
Oh, I linked to it in the show notes. You have to read this. So he goes off on this whole tangent. Oh, here it's we need big tech to protect us from Big Brother. And of course, we all know Jeff Jarvis. Not only does he own Google stock, but I think he's in bed.
He wrote a book on Google too.
Yeah, and
called "What Would Google Do?"
Right. And he's talking about how it actually it's being made impossible. Poor Google. They can't do anything because the government doesn't make them. And he ends this article.
There's another one.
Another
Use
one.
that one
Let me
instead.
write that down. That's 52, 58. Hold on. Let me write that. But that's exactly what it reads like. And he ends his piece. Yeah, in the end, it's neither technologies nor institutions that will secure us from the inexorable overreach of government curiosity in the face of technical capability. Responsibility for oversight and correction begins with the individuals, whether whistleblowers or renegade politicians or employees of conscience, who finally remind those in power, don't be evil. Really, Jarvis, you dick. You're going to pull out you're even reusing the Google slogans. Jeff Jarvis and fix your teeth.
He's a full professor now.
He's not.
So you can't hurt him. He says he denounced it on Twitter.
He's a full professor? Did he get an honorary thing, or did he study?
No. He's been a professor, but he's always been a lecturer or assistant.
I thought
professor. When you get full professor, you're done. You're you got tenure. Yeah. You get to fuck the co-eds without getting caught. The whole thing.
Whoa! Hold on a second. Can I still go to school?
Yeah.
And you're guaranteed a gig for life, essentially, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. It's the closest thing we have to communism. So anyway, okay, well, enough of that. Here's another one. Now, this is...
please.
This is Obama's his comment, which I think leads right to the Holder clip, which I put on here again. Last time we played it was on 7/11. Looks like about once... Today's what? What's the date?
8/11.
Every month it looks like it comes up in the conversation.
Yeah.
This is Holder, saying, don't you... So anyway, play the Obama fallback comment leading to Holder clip.
Okay. Oh, you've actually written a little cue list for me. I appreciate it.
Kind of, yes.
I think the main thing I want to emphasize...
Do you want... I'll go straight into it, right?
Yeah, this is just his saying...
No. I'm going from this straight into Holder.
Yeah, you can go right to Holder if you want, but this is him saying, we're not interested in spying on anybody.
I don't have an interest, and the people of the NSA don't have an interest in doing anything other than making sure that where we can prevent a terrorist attack, where we can get information ahead of time, that we're able to carry out that critical task.
I want to just ask, could you assure to us that no phones inside the Capitol were monitored of members of Congress that would give a future executive branch, if they started pulling this kind of thing off, would give them unique leverage over the legislature?
With all due respect, Senator, I don't think this is an appropriate setting for me to discuss that issue. I'd be more than glad to come back in an appropriate setting to discuss the issues that you have raised.
What does that tell you?
I'm putting the holder in the evergreens as well. That's another one of those things we just...
I love that holder clip.
There was one thing that I saw on MSNBC, and I'm one of the few still watching the channel. In fact, I am 1.6% of the viewing audience. And this is Professor
Erwin Corey.
James Peterson, black professor. And I'm happy that he said this, and it really gave me pause for a moment. Like, we should talk more about this on the show because we're really overplaying this because, of course, we are, to some degree, elitist.
It does seem that way. I mean, I don't know if the best way of making this case is comparing us to governments that are more totalitarian in how they execute their powers. But I have a really different take on this entire sort of NSA thing. I really find it to be quite a privileged discussion. And it's not that I'm not interested in transparency in terms of how our government surveils its people and how our government prosecutes the war on terror. I do think those things are important. I think this conversation is important. But I just believe that we needed to have had this conversation a long time ago, and I believe that poor people and people of color are under a different type of surveillance in this country. When you think about things like stop and frisk and a relationship or the interface between policing forces and the communities of color and poor folk, there's a tremendous amount of physical surveillance that goes on in our nation every day. And so I would love to be able to transmit some of this energy around the NSA and around transparency with the government in terms of how it prosecutes the war on terror, to think more critically about how poor folk and people of color are under constant physical surveillance in this nation that we live in.
And we forget to talk about this.
Absolutely.
And there was a C-SPAN ditty that's about an hour, and I'm going to pull clips for it for Thursday's show. It's a guy who wrote a book called "The Rise of the Warrior Cop: The Militarization of America's Police Forces," and it's mind-boggling because while we're still going, "Woo, pussy commentators, you can't have that, you can't have," meanwhile, there's really no difference. The cops have become the military.
Well, the reason for this, of course, is because they've been handed cash by the feds.
That's exactly his
just
point.
That.
Yeah, not just cash, but here, have a tank.
Yeah, have a tank, set up a SWAT team. Oh, what, you got a cute little town in the middle of Kansas?
Yeah. SWAT team.
I think you need a SWAT team.
And so this is the clips I'll pull. This guy goes into the logistics of the SWAT team and how doing SWAT raids is actually a revenue generator for these local police forces. So that's a little teaser. We're a little bit ahead of the game. That I'll have some of that for Thursday. And that's part of the work we do here on the No Agenda Show. So I will say in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
In the morning to you.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Adam Curry.
Hello.
You know that guy sues people who say that?
Really?
Yeah. He's copyrighted Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
Oh.
Yeah, I found that out some years back. Anyway, in the morning, you, Adam Curry. In the morning, all ships at sea, boots in the ground, feet in the water, subs in the air, and all the knights and dames out there.
Yes, and in the morning to our chat room, noagendastream.com, noagendachat.net, who have been very funny today. Very, very funny. Good Jeff Jarvis material in the chat room this morning. We shall leave it at that. And in the morning to all of our artists. It's very, very challenging for artists to contribute to the show because we choose the art pretty much right after the live show ends. And, so people make assumptions about what they think we're going to talk about, which is pretty much always wrong.
Almost always wrong.
And then the stuff that they put together, it's hard to do, and then, of course, we're always looking for original art. And I think it was Martin JJ 2 episodes in a row. He did the art for 537 and I believe also 536. But he was just nailing it. So thank you very much.
We talked about this before, but I'll mention it again to other people who want to try to get art on the show. Martin, we went back. I always thought Martin JJ was a newcomer, showed up out of the blue. No. But we went back, and he was a guy that was one of these tried and never was hitting he wasn't running on all cylinders. And then one day, this is typical of doing anything. You get in the groove, and the next thing you know, you're pounding it. It's just really interesting. So I don't want people to give up.
No, never give up. No,
potential. And we discussed this, and we go, this is almost good.
We actually sit there and go, oh, geez, Martin JJ again.
Actually, we have done that. No, but that's when he was streaking. He had like 4 in a row.
It's like, no, we got to give someone else a chance.
And then he retired, remember, for a couple of shows.
Yeah.
He says, I'm going to let others win.
Then I'm going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro next. Then I will return to do more art.
So we do have some executive producers to thank.
Nice.
In fact, we got a number of them, including Sir Dwayne Melanson from Tigard, Oregon, Tigard, as I like to call it, who is now decided to become, well, he's ITM, he's $588.88. $500 for the great interview show and a belated $88.88 for John and Meetsy. Also, since the Peerage Committee has been silent on this matter, I've requested that I be named the Duke of Mystery. And then he has an email that we can discuss when we night or later.
I looked for the email. I couldn't find it, so I'm not quite sure what's going on.
It was just a discussion of why he decided to become the Duke of Mystery, because he was, running Oregon, and figured that.
Now the bigger overarching issue is someone made a peerage map, but it's not really accurate. And there's even some misspellings. And is this something that Eric will eventually be putting on No Agenda Nation? I mean, I
don't know. I have no idea.
I know
we'll have to discuss this in the meeting.
Okay.
Now, here's a real interesting anomaly. David Foley came in with 538.33, and he now wants to become the Black Baron of Silicon Valley. Or he is already the Black Baron. Enclosed, find my membership for $5.38 along with 33 cents. You can stock up on mac and cheese in case we get shuttered. I believe this now elevates me to the title of Earl of Silicon Valley. Thanks for providing value with the best podcast in the universe. Toss a little of that wonderful no agenda karma my way.
All right, let me do that first and we can discuss. Here it comes.
You've got karma.
Nice.
Okay, here's what's weird. I mean, one of the things that when you're online or you're doing anything that is that involves the internet or you have massive amounts of numbers or you have a bunch of things going on. Foley's 538.33 came in about 1 minute after Kobe Hung's 538. Now, this is one of the rare moments where we have the 538 club. Usually one guy comes in to become a sole member of the club. We have 2. But the weird thing was, and from Hong Kong, Kobe Hung, I saw it on the PayPal thing. I said, "Holy crap!"
First of all, it sounds like a Korean Airlines pilot.
Kobe Hung. Well, hey, Kobe Hung. Hey. Let me read his note. Hi, John and Adam. I'm a huge douchebag for not donating more frequently. Sorry to hear that Adam had some crappy experience with the Chinese tourists in the EU. I want to call them out as one colossal douchebag.
Yes, hold on. Douchebag. I don't think they're representative of the No Agenda Chiners. There's a difference.
He says he wants to call them out as douchebags for giving the rest of the Chiners, he uses the term, not me, the Chiners, a bad name.
Can you believe that one day, like, it'll just be a thing, and, hey, Kobe Hung, I hear from Kobe Hung that American Yankee call us Chinas.
Yeah, Chiners. Please give me some surprise karma. Propagate the formula Kobe from Hong Kong. P.S. Here's a little accounting. I've donated, shows 441, and he's got the numbers, and he needs to be knighted. So hopefully he's is he on the knight list?
Let me check while I give him some surprise karma. Here we go. Hey!
You've got karma.
I believe he is. Let me just double check. Knights, titles. Hey, yes, Kobe Hung.
Yeah, he's in the blue one.
Sir Hung.
Sir Hung. Nice.
Excellent.
So we got the note from Melanson. Sir, you were wondering about the Obama-Leno clip in which POTUS changed from "you can retire even if you don't get rich" to "even if you aren't rich," as you recall.
Right.
Remember in the election campaign, he was trying to vilify people who are rich, not those who may become rich. This was at the core of the 1% bull crap. I think somewhere in his brain, he recognized that what he said might come across as slamming the people who are trying to get rich, which is a boatload of the voting public, not just the elites. Of course, I also agree with your theory that the subconscious will tell the truth let it leak out. I think he's trying to send the message that try all you want, you ain't getting rich. But you can retire if you want.
Well, hold on a second, because now I didn't clip it, but I have his little YouTube show, and of course I watched it, but there was nothing clippable. But now there's something that I remembered, and this is how my brain works. I'm like, hold on a second, didn't I hear something about that, 13 hours ago in this particular clip? Listen to this.
For the past few weeks, I've been visiting folks across America.
By the way, he didn't start off with Heil this time. He went straight into it. And you're like, for the past few weeks, no Heil, everybody, no nothing. So that's weird. That's what actually got my attention. That's what got my attention.
Talk about what we need to do as a country to.
And by the way, the White House audio is always off center. It's always heavy to the right, never to the left, which says something by itself, perhaps. I don't know if there's
from his perspective, it's heavy to the left.
Yeah, no, I get the joke, but it's not.
For a better bargain for the middle class. I've been laying out my ideas for how we can build on the cornerstones of what it means to be middle class in America. A good job, a good education, affordable health care when you get sick, a secure retirement, even if you're not rich.
There you go. Even if you're not rich. What does that mean? A secure retirement even if you're not rich?
Well, I think he might. I think Melanson may be onto something here.
Definitely. But you see how that works?
Yeah,
he says something. I'm like, wait a minute. I heard the president. And I remember like, that's weird.
So you can't get rich. I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Which is essentially that message was, you're not getting rich, kid.
It's like,
we closed the door.
Here's the bargain.
And by the way, the only way to get out of that closed door, I might add, just as an aside, wealth tax.
Yeah, that's your thing. Just keep saying it.
I'm saying it. I'm keeping it a running.
Keep it going.
Anyway, onwards. Let me do one quick search here to see if Bemrose sent us a note.
While you're doing that, just a quick note to Eric the Shill. We have the chocolates for your wife, but I'm a little worried about sending them off with UPS or FedEx from Texas where it's 100 degrees.
Oh yes, please. Once in a while,
What am I going to do? And by the way,
you just get a gabagoo.
Let me ask you a question. So Eric says, hey, while you're over there, can you bring back some high-end chocolates for my wife? And of course I do this, but I'm like, this is a trick. This is just to see if I'll do something for him, isn't it?
I probably want some. She likes Belgian chocolate.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get high-end chocolate anywhere.
Yeah, you can get high-end chocolate. Or they can go over to Victoria and get some.
Yeah,
good stuff.
This is not about me bringing it back from Europe. It's about me making the monkey boy jump. And I did.
He'll send me a note. I didn't mean that. You're just starting trouble.
I'm trying.
If I were you, I would just, say no. I can't do it.
I did it. I mean,
you did. You bought him some chocolates.
Yeah, you only have to say this to Mickey once. Mickey she's got this knack.
Well, you can't ship that stuff until when?
Winter,
October,
January.
It'll be once it goes into the post office. There, it's just a gabagoo.
My wife is so awesome. I think, Eric's like something, and she'll have this in her brain, and she's like, we cannot leave the country. We have to buy chocolate for Eric's wife. Like,
she's a hostess type.
She's very good.
She probably puts on a great little dinner for those Obama bots.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. And yes, I mean, I'm cooking, of course, and you know that it's going to be your recipes.
Yeah, let's go with something good.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is from Bemrose. He sent us a note actually on the 24th. And
I think
hey, John and Adam, when the whole end, and he gave us $333.33 in this check, which came in through the banks, through the bank system. Mm-hmm. This whole NSA spying thing broke. Everybody in the office, except for me, were completely shocked that our own government could do such a thing. What? How could members of our own government sworn to protect the Constitution go behind our backs and do such a thing? My boss with whom I've discussed No Agenda several times, summed it up best when he said, the worst thing about the NSA spying is that they're proving Adam Curry's right. That's not a sign. It's time. That's a sign. It's time to donate. I don't know what is if that's not a sign. Well, here's the thing. The big PayPal meltdown from last month got me thinking to myself, if you donate $333 to the No Agenda show, how much do they actually get? Well, I thought back, all of it. If I have anything to say about it, so F PayPal. I sent a check. I don't know when it's going to get there, but it'll get there. So as the coroner, by the way, we got here a month later. I don't know how that happened. So as the coroner concluded after the bear attacks in Eastern Europe, the check is in the mail. Ho, 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 ho. All right, so that's Sir Ryan Bemrose.
Thank you.
David Robertson.
Sir Ryan.
Now we got three associate executive producers, David Roberts in Norristown, Pennsylvania, who may have a note too. Sir Todd Brink in New Berlin, Wisconsin. Thanks for the great shows. Actually, why don't you read that while I look up old Roberts?
Okay. Hold on a second. Thanks for the great shows lately. For some reason, my title forgotten when I donate. Yeah, no, you have to keep telling us we're rejiggering our system, which is which is the same thing we do with our Constitution these days. You rejigger it. So Sir Todd Brink, night macaroni et fromage. Macaroni et fromage. Can I have a macaroni and cheese by Ayn Rand bump, please? Why, yes. Bend over.
Living the mac and cheese life. Mac and cheese by Ayn Rand.
There you go.
Oh, it's the same guy.
What do you mean?
Those two clips, that was the same voice.
Hello?
Oh, is that on the voice? That was on the clip?
Yeah, you didn't know.
Oh, okay, never mind. All right, David Roberts in Norristown did send a note because he wants a little action. Happy to be sending another donation, although I still owe you more value for value. Request the mac and cheese Karma LGY.
Wow, okay, but then we'll have to do the other one to spice it up a little bit.
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese. Cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese.
Yay! Yeah, I saw in Us Magazine, which Miss Mickey brought back from the HEB, which she calls porn. The first lady was in there, and she had a cauliflower mac and cheese recipe.
Oh.
And it was right there. It was standing in the garden, the White House garden, with her hands cupped, and in her hands, veggies. Veggies in her hands. And it was the First Lady official cauliflower mac and cheese. Yum, yum, gimme some.
Jason Seish, I believe. $200 from Portage, Michigan. And I'm sure it's pronounced Portage.
I think Portage is the new way to say it.
Should be Portage, but it's pronounced Portage.
And isn't Portage something nasty in French?
Depends on if you're on your head or not.
I'm going to check.
Hello, Jeb and Alan. I've been a listener for a while now, and I hope this donation shows my appreciation for the show. It's been truly the best way for me to get the news. For the past several months, I've been working on a side project that I'd like to ask for some website karma for. It's an online version of the Red Book for the common folks. Please check it out at http://rdbk.net.
Hold on.
The central question is, and I want every one of the listeners to hear this, help me by going out to the site and creating some predictions, because hopefully someday it will help me in my grand quest for just getting by. Again, thanks for the show. And that will conclude our...
and I'm looking at it right now. This is it's interesting because there are predictions in here that we have not made.
No, he says it for our listeners to make their own predictions.
All right, so let me just give you what the... okay, I'm sorry, I'm not happy with this site, because here are the predictions. 1, Alex Rodriguez will take a deal. 2, it gets better. 2, Under the Dome will get canceled. 3, Facebook will lose 5% of its users in 2014. I mean, really?
Cares about Alex Rodriguez?
I mean, the whole front page is almost not... I mean, I don't want to harsh the guy.
It's all distraction of the week stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, very bad. Very bad. Bad form.
Well, what he needs to do is he needs to, no agenda-ize this thing.
Yeah. You could do it by not, invalidating the predictions as being lame or whatever. I mean,
we should have some, iOS 7 will be a flop. This is...
No.
Anyway, I do like the idea.
iOS 7.
iOS 7 will communicate directly with the NSA. So portage translates to portage. But what does it mean?
I don't know. You have to look it up in a French dictionary. Anyway, so I forgot what it means. I used to be able to speak a little French.
But it translates to portage in English.
Yeah, I think it means moving something. Doesn't it? Port from
I'm looking it up.
Location is something.
Yeah. The carrying of a boat or its cargo between two navigable waters.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Portage.
All right, so it's like a canal.
Anyway, this is our executive and associate executive producers for show 538, including two 538 members that came in almost at the exact same time, which I find peculiar. And we want to thank them, and we hope that people will donate to show 539 for Thursday. Go to Dvorak.org/NA, channeldvorak.com/NA if you can't get to Dvorak.org/NA, and also NoAgendaShow.com and NoAgendaNation.com have buttons you can hit and you can get to somewhere or other.
And these are official titles. These are titles that you can put on your IMDb if you have an entry. You can add them to your LinkedIn, put them on your stationery, your letterhead, add them to your business card. And we have, it is a fact that if you add these credits to your LinkedIn profile, you get hits. You get lots and lots of hits.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And speaking of hits, something you can do for us is go out and propagate our formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth. New World Order. Shut up, slave.
Did I mention that Mickey's trying to kill me?
Oh, yeah, you've told me a couple of times. I think by poison. That's what
she's given up on the oyster.
Oh.
Yeah, it's something
What
new.
about the poison oyster?
No. She's come up with a way to kill me.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're familiar with this concept. It's called spinning.
But before you do that, before you say that, I just want to say one little thing here. Do you know how hard it is for Melanson to get to a dukedom? That's astonishing. Getting to duke on this show is very difficult.
No, it's very hard.
Anyway,
but he's also he's been around for a while and he's been supporting the show. So you're there.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I used the word.
Are you familiar with this thing called spinning?
That's where you spin your partner until they pass out and then you choke them to death.
No.
Is that what she's doing?
No. So you get this. So she comes home. She has this new clothes, and you put on these clothes, and you're looking like Lance Armstrong. And then she takes you to a building, and in this building there's a room, and in the room there's like 50 exercise bicycles, and then you sit on one. And then they close the door and lock it. They turn off the air conditioning. They turn off the lights. And then you realize everyone except you was wearing neon. And then they turn on like this disco, like house. And then there's a woman with a microphone on her head who is yelling at you. And you have to bike really fast. And then, you have to go push up and down and left and crunch and up and down. And then, and then you can't breathe and then you're dying.
I've always suspected that Mickey was susceptible to this faddish bullcrap that floats around it.
This is like
the restaurants where there's pitch black and you're supposed to eat your meal. Those places all folded, by the way.
I always liked the No Hands restaurant. That was my favorite.
By the way, I've always thought it'd be cool. You go into one of those restaurants. No Hands. Yeah, that's another one.
Have you ever been there? The No Hands restaurant?
I don't go to these places. I like eating food normally. I don't want to go into a dark room. Because one of the things I'm one of those horrible people that you put me in one of those restaurants in a dark room, nobody can see anything. I'm throwing the food. I'm just going to throw it all over the place and see what happens. Hey, what the hell?
I was in Bangkok. When I was in Bangkok, we were doing the documentary, and they said, we have to go to a No Hands restaurant. And a No Hands restaurant the food is in the middle. It's kind of like a bleacher, like a round bleacher, and you're sitting on the lower rung, and you have a girl, I think with no clothes on, sitting behind you.
You'd think.
I can't really remember that part. There was a lot of naked girls during that documentary. And then you as the No Hands patron are not allowed to touch the food. You just look at something, and then your I think naked helper then goes and
pushed up against you. I might add.
Of course, this is part of the benefit of the restaurant. Then goes with chopsticks or whatever, or if they might like fry something on a little Skittle thingy, and then makes it for you and feeds you.
Sounds like a good way to get blinded,
or to wake up in a bathtub full of ice.
You're right, with your kidney
missing. Anyway, so I have to say, I'm going to go back. I'll stick with it. I'll stick with the spinning thing. In fact, I want to get, but it's like, can't we do like a spinning thing for like dudes my age, where we start with, like a little
heart attack,
like a little Creedence Clearwater, to ease into it slowly, and then maybe we'll be at Sympathy for the Devil at the very end of the class. None of this 150 beats per minute crap. I'm hurting all over. But I do have to do something because I've become fat.
You've gotten fat?
Yeah.
I find that hard to
No,
believe.
I got a gut. I got a gut, man, from this drinking.
Don't eat so much.
It's not moving. It's not about the not eating so much.
Just don't eat anything. You're not going to get fat, I guarantee, whether you move or not.
Yeah, but see, of course, we've been smoke-free for a year. That you're going to gain some weight.
Oh, that's always the excuse.
No, I'm not saying that's the excuse. I said it's from non-movement, so this will be movement. Well. But anyway, this thing, what a scam.
Take a walk.
Check it out. So I think they
How fat can you get in 106 degrees?
So you got 50 bikes, and I think they charge $20 for 45 minutes.
So it's $1,000 for somebody yelling at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And they must do 4 or 5 of these a day. This is a pretty good outfit. This is a pretty good deal.
I wouldn't want to go to it. I want to own it.
That's what I'm saying, to own it, yeah. But your only outlay is, these bikes are expensive. They got to be $1,500. These bikes are not cheap.
Why don't you actually get on a bike and go around town and look at things?
No, this has actually been my excuse.
Like a waste of time.
Now, I do want to point out that the chicks at this place are dynamite.
Oh.
And if you're in the back row, best seat in the house.
Oh, yeah, there you go. The old horn dog in the back row. Who's that guy in the back, that guy? What's he doing with his hand?
Okay.
All right, enough of that.
Yes, enough, I tell you. So I do
have a couple of, just a little segue clip.
If I'm dead, then you know what happened.
Yes, yeah, heart attack. So, here goes the show. I just want to play this as a little aside because it's kind of funny. But it's, this guy's been on the YouTubes for years, and all he does is prove what Jay Leno proved like 20 years ago, that you can go out on the street and find a bunch of idiots that'll say, or do anything. It's just like the whole country is filled with these clowns.
And it's also how you edit it. You leave out.
No, but this guy actually edits kind of fairly, it seems so. But you can have a bunch of people telling you to get lost.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the petition guide. I cut it down just to the minimum. Yeah. But this is the kind of thing you can do in the United States of America very easily.
You signed a petition to help get the illegals out of jails and prisons and support Obama.
Yeah, we're not.
They deserve a second chance. Murderers, burglars, rapists, they all deserve, sign there too, please, birth date and a sign. These rapists, murderers, and burglars, they all deserve a second chance.
Okay, what do you want to say?
And I'm sure they are hard workers too.
Yeah, they do.
Thank you for supporting that.
Yeah, no, I've seen this guy. I saw one where he went like, Obama wants to repeal the First, Second, Third, and Fourth Amendment.
Yeah, I got that one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, great. That's great.
This shows you a petition. These petitioners come around every so often. There are always like CalPERG and some of these horrible operations, which have brought us the bottle bill. So I have to pay 6 cents every time I buy a bottle of water or anything.
Is that Mark Dice? Is that who that guy is?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's the guy that that drove by the Walmart and said, "You're all lazy slaves." He's a funny guy. I think he's pretty funny.
No, he's funny. He's a kind of a stone-faced, deadpan guy.
Yeah.
Does a really good job. So they come by. I never sign petitions.
No, of course not.
I don't sign any of these petitions. I figure there's just a hit list or something.
Here's my standard answer, and I've gotten really good at it. In Austin, for some reason, we have this a lot. Like, would you like to sign a petition against drugs? Like, no, I use them. I like them. And they do what? And they just would you like to sign a petition to save whales? No, I think we should kill them all. I always do that. And Mickey's always she hits me when I do this. But I can't help it. It's just whatever they say, I'm very good at immediately coming back with the exact opposite. And they just go, what?
Yeah, they would always be baffled. Yeah, I can see these guys going that way. I stupidly did. You were doing the right thing because I stupidly get into a conversation with them.
Oh no.
Yes, and now that you mention it, I'm an idiot for even thinking to do that.
Well, it's also 100 degrees in Austin, so when we're on the street, I'm not going to stop and talk to you in 100-degree heat. I just want to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I don't know what I'm going to have to. It's a little personality tweak I have to make. So somebody says, "Oh, would you sign this petition?" No, I think it's great the way it is. 3 lines, I'm done. The guys aren't going to say anything more to me.
I just have it. This is one of those little quirks, those little things I can do. I'm very good at. No matter what you throw at me on the street, I'm going to come back and tell you that I love the exact opposite.
Yeah, I have to work on that. That's very good advice.
Yeah, it's good advice. All right.
Okay, I got an Ask Adam.
Do we need? We can probably do a jingle. I don't know if all right.
Ask Adam, yeah.
Okay, I've got a clip that I pulled that I want you to tell me who did the clip. And it sounds like an ad.
This is the Ask Adam clip.
And Ask Adam. You have to tell me what it's about.
Okay.
And who did it.
Okay, so I have to. So this is an Ask Adam because that's the way it's labeled. And what it's about and who did it. What it's about and who did it for $35.
You make sacrifices every day for what it is you're trying to build.
So I've always been interested in building things and solving problems.
It's the joy of creating something new that hopefully other people find useful.
I'm so passionate about what I do.
It wasn't just enough to come up with the idea and sell to somebody else.
What would a better way of doing this look like?
You ask forgiveness, not permission. You go at it. But every once in a while you sit back and say, oh yeah, we're maybe curing cancer. Like that feels pretty good.
Our aim is to really lead a transformation in cancer care.
The world's first peer-to-peer car sharing marketplace. Highly focused communities, built around superfans.
Protecting the agriculture industry from the impact of bad weather.
We're an online marketplace that connects people that want to buy things custom and the people that make it.
We help people discover things inside of places.
We're going to change drug discovery.
And solve a lot of the world's healthcare questions.
This is what brings the world together.
Let's give it a shot and see what we can do. You give up a lot of things to get to that point.
But there isn't really a price that could be as much fun as building exactly what you want to build.
You get to show it to the world and have people love what you're doing. That's the best thing for an engineer.
Okay, I have not seen this ad, but I'm pretty sure it is for Windows RT.
What do you mean you're pretty sure it's for Windows? It's got nothing to do with Windows RT.
It's an online marketplace where we can cure cancer. That sounds to me like Microsoft marketing.
You're going to have to just beep the buzzer. You're wrong.
Yes, very wrong. What was this? The Google maybe? Or Amazon?
Ooh. It was Google.
Oh.
And it was all their guys that were within their Google Ventures. These are all the people, the partners in Google Ventures.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that twerp is now claiming that he can cure cancer? What's his name? That raccoon twerp?
I don't know who the guy. They showed different people.
What's his name? Kevin Rose, raccoon twerp.
No. Kevin Rose.
He's in Google Ventures.
His was we help you. You can listen to it again if you want. But he says we help you discover things inside of places.
Oh,
that was Kevin Rose. Now the funny thing about this,
hold on. Before I heard Kevin Rose on that Tweeter show, and it sounds like his job is to only have coffee with people.
Oh, what do you think it is? It's a coffee club.
Because he kept saying
coffee clatch.
He actually said,
"No, it's not even a drinking club. It's a coffee
before
clatch."
I have coffee with a founder, I'm like, wow, is that like a new swingers club or something? Coffee with a founder.
Here's the joke. To me, the thing, and I think it's kind of sick, ironic, and also like racist, and I'll bring it up. Yeah. There's one black guy. Now, the guys are curing cancer. They're helping you find.
What is the black guy doing? What is he doing?
The black guy says he's involved with developing highly focused communities built around super fans.
Like instead of air conditioners, you mean?
No, you know what he means. He means let's find a hip hop group and build a website and promote them even more.
Wow.
So they gave the black guy this
the hip hop
stereotypical bull crap.
Unbelievable.
So he gets to work with super fans, while everybody else gets to work curing cancer.
And what was Rose again? Finding things inside of things?
Discover things inside of places.
Ooh. And where did this air? Well, this was a national spot,
online.
I bet. Oh, online? Okay. Oh, I have to watch this thing online. So I wasn't far, so my initial thinking wasn't far off the mark. It's like, this is typical Silicon Valley. We're going to, save the world. And I thought, yeah, Microsoft Windows RT sounds like we're going to cure cancer. Wow. Yeah. So Google Ventures is going to do that. These guys are smart to do this because their business model is drying up. I look at the numbers, Google. I see what's happening. And they're going to have to, they're trying to morph now because they need to keep investor confidence. They need to keep people interested. Because the pyramid scheme, the house of cards that is their illegal, in my mind, practices of forcing websites into their webmaster program and getting them on board, and otherwise you're blocked from Google results. The whole thing is anti-competitive, anti-American, I'll even say that. It's falling apart. And they've seen that, look, 10 years ago, BlackBerry was the shit. I had a BlackBerry. It was this device, and you could drive a car over it, and it might be scratched, but you still had your email, and it was easy to write emails, and this thing was wireless, and it was mind-boggling, and they got into the entire infrastructure of business and government, and it only took Apple 8 years, about 7 or 8 years. And BlackBerry is dead. RIM, the company, is as good as dead. This can happen to Google, too. And I put it in the book. It will happen. We're going to get BitSearch. We already have the BitTorrent, the BitSync, the BitMessage. We'll get BitTwit. And we're going to get BitSearch. And it's all going to be decentralized because that is the nature of the network. It's the nature of the beast. It happens every single time. So self-driving cars, glass hole stuff, all of this is just fodder. There's no money in it. There's no money. Their money comes from a scam. And, of course, no one really reports on the hundreds of millions of dollars in fines they have to pay for propagating, illegal pharmaceuticals online. That's barely reported on. I'm sorry, Jeff Jarvis must have missed that one. It's a scam.
Well, you have a thing about online advertising being a scam, and I have to say that when's the last time you clicked on anything or even read these things? People are zoning out over these things. And on the Google, in fact, I think a good evidence of this in my browser on one of my machines, I loaded something because I needed some utility, but it also screwed with my browser. So now anytime this is a classic. I got to get rid of this. So if I type in the URL I want, it immediately jumps to Bing.
Oh, yeah. It was Skype. You upgraded Skype and you didn't pay attention to what they said. This almost happened to me. And I went to a screen, I hit next, and then I saw, oh, my God, it's Bing and Toolbar. I'm like, no. And then I went back, and there was something else that it asked me, which I just clicked through. People. Ho-ho people.
So
you got to be very
the point.
careful.
The real point of this is that if you, and I've always said this about spam, too. If you have to trick somebody to get, and this is the same case with downloads. All these, you want to download a utility. It's a free download. Free download to go to CNET. And they got download buttons all over the page. And you have to dig to figure out which one to click on because you click on any other one, you get some piece of crap you don't want.
Well, this was Real Network's business model. It has been its business model for the past 10 years, and they just came out with it because they're a public company. They lost like $18 million, whatever, because, the scam is now falling apart. Real Networks, and when's the last time you played a real audio or real media clip? They were bundling all of their crap into their player. You wrote a great article, although I'd like to expand on it, because it is very, very relevant to LavaBit and all of the things that people think that they have to be a part of in this online world, which you really don't have to be a part of. And it was essentially, you said that, look, Amazon knows they really know everything about me. Yet on the Kindle, and by the way, I have the same cheap ass Kindle, and they've got the ad for me on the front page is "Steal like an artist." Like, really? that Amazon doesn't even know really what you want, and the whole idea of targeted, personalized marketing is a scam, and Amazon has figured this out, that there's no way to really do it properly, so they're now just resorting to spam. And that's really what works, as spam works. It's just a fact.
Yeah, because it's cheap, and you can just broadcast everywhere, which is essentially the way TV advertising works. It's spam.
And here's something interesting. So of course I rebuilt my entire email server, so you get deep into the guts of it and you start looking at stuff again and what's getting through and what's being rejected. And I used my I obviously used the little iPod Touch device I've been using instead of a phone. I used it in Italy and France. And somehow the spammers are and I use it on like restaurant Wi-Fi networks and the Airbnb networks. There was no other real open networks that I can recall using, although just having your Wi-Fi on, and this has been shown in the UK now, where they've got all, and this is all over the place. You go into a shopping mall, your MAC address is being collected because you have your Wi-Fi on. Bing, they got your MAC address, and so they're tracking you throughout your experience. I am getting spam related to my MAC address because now all of a sudden I'm getting Italian spam and French spam. This is not because
Austin?
In Austin. Right?
Yeah, they don't know where you are. It's crazy. And you do have, there's ways of determining this. This reminds me of somebody, or it may have been you, who mentioned that, Amazon being so, they have the information on you if they want to do targeting. And it's so piss poor.
No, they always give me, I know what you're going to say.
You just buy something. You just bought it.
You just bought it, and then you get ads about what you just bought.
Yeah, you buy a camera, and then they're pummeling you with ads to buy the camera.
Exactly.
You just bought the camera.
Exactly. So this is part of the big secret, is it doesn't work. There's billions of dollars being stolen from advertisers and from consumers, and just waste of my time, just taking my time. It's all just, it's not working. And, and that's what I liked about your article is essentially Amazon's seen it. They're the ones who can really know. Google doesn't know shit about me, really. Really. And this, it's the reverse. The government is doing the exact reverse. Since they can't actually target an individual terrorist, they're doing the opposite of spam, which is they're doing suck. It's like, let me just swallow everything and then see if we can find some nuggets of some chunks of goodness in there.
Right. Exactly. You're right. That's a good analogy. This is the exact opposite.
It's the exact opposite.
Instead of just sending out a bunch of crap that you hope you get a lead, you just suck in a bunch of crap and hope you get a lead. It's the same thing, only reversed.
Isn't it interesting that if you reverse the word spam, you get maps?
There you go.
No.
Well, anyway, so that was annoying, to say the least.
But a great ad. I like that a lot. I like the ad.
So anyway, okay, that's your Ask Adam.
Here's a little history lesson, which I think we should be talking about. And this is not really an Ask John, but I'm going to throw it back to you because, of course, this was, I think, 1972. And this was on CNN. Now we got to talk about CNN a little bit because CNN has had their lowest ratings ever. I'm not, kid you not.
Who's the head of it?
Let me see. The guy who ran NBC into the ground, Jeff Zucker.
Yeah, he's
literally
really good.
Only 27,000 viewers in the demo. That's 25 to 54.
Wow.
I mean, so they had 300,000 viewers total, but it was like, maybe it was 70. It doesn't matter. Okay, maybe I'm mixing it up. Maybe it was 72,000 in the demo. It's not even a tenth of a ratings point. That's in the demo, and the demo means where the money is. So the first thing I'll do, actually, I'm going to reverse this. This is something that you pointed out, and I think it was the History Channel or TLC or whatever it was, where you had the reality show, The Housewives smoking cannabis.
Right.
Right? Cannabis. So CNN, and I've done the research on this, CNN is in deep, deep, deep trouble. Hold on, I have it here. Let's see, I have the headline here. CNN garnered its second lowest primetime ratings of the year amongst adults 25-54 on Thursday, August 8th, 2013, averaging 76,000 adults in the 25 to 54 viewers from 8 to 11 p.m. That's in a 3-hour time period.
That's unbelievable.
Piers Morgan Live delivered one of its 10 lowest rated episodes of the year, with 71,000 adults in the 25 to 43 demo. So
we have more listeners than Piers Morgan.
So first of all, executive order, I veto no more Piers Morgan clips unless he pays us. Because we can't be promoting this guy anymore, so we got to stop with that. And
I'm in,
and he'll be off back to the UK very, very soon. So now I'm reading, so I'm like, I'm interested because there's something came up, something happened, and it's related to this. So here's CNN reboots to grab non-news ad dollars. And this is a story, and I know I used to be in this business, so I know where to get all these stories. And this is about, new president Jeff Zucker's been trying to remake CNN into a network that's essential every day rather than watched only during news events. CNN's new programming strategy lends itself to go after dollars that are not traditional news. So they're really trying to do something here because they're in trouble. And they didn't even do an upfront, which means, they didn't even have an advertiser blowjob session. But the news came out that CNN's advertising revenues are now down. And we're talking shocking, like 10 to 15%. And it always takes a while when the ratings go down because, of how stuff is bought out in the future. So CNN, now we're in trouble. And this came out because, Time Warner released their numbers, the quarterly numbers, and they don't typically break stuff out like this, but for some reason they did, which I think is also a big FU to Jeff Zucker. And they broke it out, and CNN's revenues were like around $300 million, very, very poor, down 10 to 15%. So knowing what you and I know about how the business works, and we've discussed this we've seen this happen with other entities, even online entities. When you want to get an advertiser in, there's two ways you can do it. One, which is often very effective, is strap on the knee pads and open your mouth. And I have done this many, many times for all kinds of ventures to get the ad. Oh yes, it'll be great. It'll be your branding everywhere. In fact, I will have the Budweiser logo tattooed on my ass just for you. Just give us your order. Or you can start kicking against one of the largest advertisers. Now, the pharmaceutical industry spends around $5 billion a year in the United States alone on television advertising, which is also deemed their most effective advertising. And it's the usual suspects. It's Amgen, it's Allergan, it's Johnson & Johnson, it's all these guys. And I have been missing it somewhere, and of course, when I heard this report come out and this stunning news, I knew what had happened.
For a long time, and
this is Sanjay Gupta, who has come out with a documentary called Weed, and he has decided that he has been wrong all along. That medical marijuana,
all these years,
medical marijuana has actual, factual, scientific, medical benefits over those nasty pharmaceuticals.
I've been pretty critical of it, written magazine articles and other things. When you look at the medical literature, there's some 20,000 papers that'll pop up, Victor, on medical marijuana. The vast majority of them, greater than 90% of them, are designed to look at harm, the problems, the perils of marijuana, and about 6% or so to look at the benefits. That's what I found. And that paints a pretty distorted picture. That was a distorted picture, I realize now in retrospect. It took for me getting literally out of the country, looking at labs in other countries that are doing some remarkable research, and also talking to a lot of patients. I mean, legitimate patients with legitimate problems. I probably too easily dismissed them as just being malingerers who were trying to get high. And when you come to find out these are legitimate patients for whom marijuana works and nothing else did, all of a sudden, the attitudes start to change, because then it becomes a question of responsibility. We got to, providing actual care for people.
And you say we were systematically misled.
I think we have been. In this country, up until 1943, marijuana was on the pharmacopoeia, which is what doctors use to prescribe medicines. for the last 70 years, it's been progressively sort of demonized, thought of differently, made a Schedule 1 drug.
Why
puts it in the same category as the most dangerous substances in the country. And I think that, there was a lot of things going on in the late 30s and early 40s that may have led to that. But I think the end product, to your question, is that we simply haven't gotten accurate information about this. There's real science here. And that needs to be injected into this conversation.
So I'm blown away by this.
You have to play that clip of the week. That's clip of the day.
Well, I have
I don't care.
a reduct. Okay,
I don't care.
You don't
astonishing.
No, you don't care. You don't care. That's fine. I'm a down.
Clip of the day.
Okay, but here
is incredible.
But here is Sanjay, and because we got to step it up. We got to go to prime time, which is 6,000 viewers more over a 3-hour period, and we're going to hit Brolf. Now we're with Brolf to promote the Weed documentary.
That's a good point. I know you did a lot of research for this documentary that will air this weekend. Is there concrete evidence, though, concrete scientific evidence that medical marijuana works better at treating certain medical conditions than pharmaceutical drugs?
I mean, Brolf is like, he's like, just say, why don't you just name the drugs, Brolf?
I believe there is. Ooh. And I've seen examples of it. First of all, I've seen the studies. So this isn't just anecdotal information, anecdotal knowledge anymore. There are studies to back this up. But I think I'll give you a couple of quick examples.
Please.
With regard to something known as neuropathic pain, neuropathy, that can be that sort of pins and needles sort of feeling, burning, lancinating, as my patients have described it, feeling in your limbs. It can be very hard to treat. And the way that we often treat it now in this country is to use medications like narcotics, poppy derivatives such as morphine, Dilaudid, OxyContin.
Yeah, he's going after everything. He's going after the poppy derivatives.
This is shameless. I mean, and it's lies. He knew all this a long time ago.
Yeah.
Or he's either a denier.
Uh-huh.
We know that marijuana can actually have a significant benefit towards treating this sort of pain.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it can work. Not only work, but it can work when those other medications didn't work. And there's something else that I think makes this very, very relevant, Wolf, and that is when you talk about these narcotic pills, someone dies of an accidental overdose in this country every 19 minutes.
Wait, here it comes.
Laying it on thick.
Wait, no, it gets better.
From taking these prescription-type pills. When we did our research, we could not find any evidence of a death from marijuana overdose. So you have a drug that works, you have a drug that may work better than what else is out there, and you have a drug that from a critical safety profile appears to be safer.
All the memes he's pulling out.
Shut up already. It's science.
Took out the talking point.
I want to tell everyone something. Because you will hear, the government has the patent on medical marijuana. It's a deal. No. This is one thing and one thing only. This is the last-ditch effort by CNN. Last-ditch to get the pharmaceutical industry back on board. Because they're not advertising on CNN. They're not.
I think this is the same thing that happened in the Good Morning America show. And this is what you do. You got two routes when you're a publisher. One, you knuckle under whatever the advertisers tell you to do. You do it. Or the advertisers bail out and you go after them.
And this is
they get back on board.
Right.
And that's what they're doing.
But it's not going to happen. This is Jeff Zucker.
No, I don't think so either. Because the numbers are so low, nobody except the people, listeners to ours, we got more listeners to those clips than they did.
Yes. And the funny thing is, they're providing our material. This is great.
It's a bonanza.
So this is Jeff Zucker pulling out his balls and swinging them around like, I'm Jeff Zucker, and we're going to get him back. And it's going to fail. It's going to fail. And so look at the writing on the wall, people. Look at the models. Look at the Boston Globe. What is it? The Boston Insider. What was that newspaper?
What, the Boston Globe? What about it?
Yeah,
the one that sold for $70 million?
We got Bezos buying the Post for way overvalued. It was probably also worth about $60-70 million, but even $250 million. Like, okay, whatever.
No, but that's it as a lobbying tool.
Yeah, no, but it's still, even that's you overpaid. And you're going to see this systematically come to. Go listen to Listen to NPR, people. Do that. Don't listen to No Agenda. Please stop. Turn it off right now. Go listen to NPR. And count the number of underwriters like Squarespace and what's the Carbonite. And, it's like these are ads.
They play a lot of ads.
Ruining the programming,
look at it. We told the story already on the show. I'll tell it again. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation pulled their funding from the NewsHour, one of the actually really good news programs, at least one of the better ones on the air, because they didn't think it was jazzy enough, and they started strong-arming them. We'll give you some money if you make the show the way we want you to make the show.
Exactly. Get rid of it, in other words. Get rid of it. And so
we want more whooshes.
Now, so when people say to us, and we're about to thank some producers, when they say, I don't always agree with you, I'm happy. Because if you think everything we say is good, go away too. This is not good for you. Then we're not the right show. But the future of your media diet, the future of your news has to be varied, and you need to challenge yourself, yo. You need to challenge your own thinking. I threw that in there. I thought that would accentuate to the hip young crowd, the 25-54.
The two guys that are like...
All right, I'm going to give up on it. Here we go.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda.
Hey, yo!
In the morning.
We do have a bunch of people to thank, and we want to thank them profusely. We're starting with Chris Terhart in Abbotsford, British Columbia, there by Spuzzum, I believe. 169.33. Dear Crow and Servo, August 10th was my 24th birthday, so I thought I might make myself a gift. The gift of finally lifting the veil of no donate douche self-pity off my head. And we need more people to to
be thinking that way.
More of these are people coming out, wish I had discovered this show years ago, but far better late than never. P.S. A little karma my way would be much appreciated. Well, for a new donor, we'll do that here on this segment.
You've got karma.
$111.11 comes in from Patrick Turner over there in Austin, Texas. Have a meetup. Maybe you'll be at the big September meetup.
Is that happening?
Brian Curry, your brother in Quesnel, I think, or Quesnel, I believe it's pronounced. Really? Another British Columbian, $110. Werner Bogula.
Hey, hold on a second. If your name is Brian Curry and you want to have an email address, brian@curry.com, send me an email. I'll forward it for you.
Well, that's really nice of you.
I've had lots of people over the years ask me about that. I always. I know no guarantees it'll work forever, but I'll put it in.
Well, that's good for the short term. Yeah. Werner Bogula or Bogula in Hamburg, Deutschland, 101.69. He's going to South Africa to train some journalists about podcasting and needs some serious travel karma.
Because his plane is an Airbus.
It is a double hit. The government last week accidentally switched off electricity in Mandela's home.
Yeah, you got some electricity and travel karma here, my friend.
You've got karma.
Yes.
And it's good to know because my daughter is leaving on Monday for Namibia.
Oh, geez, why? Oh, that's right. Your daughter's going to do that's right, the show. Oh, she's going to have a ball.
Can I just tell you a quick little anecdote about this?
Yeah.
So this is a reality show, but you don't get voted off. So it's safe for her to go. People aren't going to be too crazy, but you know how these shows work, and they try to put you into a certain mind state and reality. And she had said early on, look, I'll only do the show if you have, I want to be able to have some normal food. Like I have gluten issues and stuff, so I do need to be able to have like some crackers or whatever. So you have to promise. Okay, promise. And I've looked out for doctors' insurance and all this stuff. The production is okay in that regard. But she also said, I want to be able to call home, a couple times a week. And so, then the contract came back, and then all of a sudden they did the bait and switch. Well, we looked into it, and it's hard to get a phone call, maybe 2 weeks. And, and then so Christina's like, this is bull crap. This has got satellite phones, everything. It's Namibia, there's cell service everywhere. So it's total bull crap. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, you can make a phone call. If you really, if it's really horrible and you're crying and you can't stand it anymore, right? And so she's like, Daddy, I'm not going to go. And then the legal department's like, well, if you read the fine print, you'll have to pay us €25,000 fine. And so Christina's calling me up, and her management is like, oh, look, they're going to sue you. And I said, honey, listen, watch this. So you call them up, and you say your dad laughed at your slave contract, and he personally will come with his team of lawyers to fight your lawsuit. So then you demand 3 phone calls a week. They'll offer 2, you'll settle. And she's like, Dad, really? I said, no, you watch. And she, I'm very proud of her. She held out. She said, no, I'm not going to go. You can sue me. We're not afraid of you. And they went, oh, okay. And they gave her the 3 phone calls. Didn't even negotiate it down to 2.
Oh! Whoa!
Hello! So very important show business lesson there. I'm very proud.
Yes,
very
you
proud
gotta
of
stand
her.
up for yourself.
Yeah, you got it. It's particularly to this
people
bull
walk
crap.
all over you.
Yeah, but particularly to this bull crap. This like, oh, we're going to sue you. Please.
Yeah, anytime you hear a threat, by the way, like that, you know that they're in a disadvantaged position.
Exactly.
You don't threaten, you just do.
You do. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyway, so it's good. If some crap goes down, if she's not getting her phone calls, then Werner, I'm calling you up, and you'll have to travel west.
And he's German, too, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mac Tank in La Jolla, California, $100. Excellent work of late gentlemen. Michael Henry, $100 in Snellville, Georgia. Also, he's a wonderful person. He wants to say hello to Susan Coleman in memory of her. Bas Broy, oh, brother. This is another Netherlands name people always critique me for. Let me try. I can't even come close. What is this Brunix?
Yeah, I would
say it's Bas Brunix.
Brownings. Bas Brownings.
Bas Brownix in Vorst.
Forst.
That's right. B's are F's. Forst. Congrats. It's 8888. Another 8888 late comer, but we appreciate this. We'll be sending you personal notes. Per Ola Gustafsson in Sweden.
Per Ola Gustafsson. I think
Per Ola Gustafsson.
First name Per. I don't think first name is Per Ola.
Oh, Per. Okay.
It's
yeah,
Per.
Per is a real. I've heard that name a lot. Brian Williams, 7373 in Streamwood, Illinois.
73s.
Sam Menner is, whoops, hello.
Oh.
Hello, Q.
Hello. I was preoccupied. Sorry.
69, dudes.
Came close to a fail today with Sam Menner in Box Hill, South Victoria.
Very close.
Richard Hedenberg in Summon, Sweden, and the Grand Duke Sir Stephen Pelsmacher.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm completely unprepared. This is no good.
And it's
The Lords, dames, knights, slaves, and elites, please be upstanding for another donation from the Grand Duke von Pelsmachers.
He also sends a note.
Oops.
Some additional Swaziland karma for the happily married couples M&J and M&A. Now, there's 2 things to note here. There was only 3, which means we're coming near the end of this little deal.
And let me hit the ending.
69, dudes.
Right.
And of the 3, not one was an American.
Whoa, that's an observation I hadn't noticed.
What does that tell you? William Astarita, I believe. Astarita, it's got to be. Lindenhurst, New York, 6933. We wanted some requests. He was going to give us $30 a week or something if we would play the mac and cheese clip 5 times a show. So that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
We
no.
get pushed around by our listeners, but not that much. Susan Bell, Clarksburg, Maryland, 5888. Sam Menner comes in. It looks like a duplicate, but it's 2 different notes. Congratulations, John and Mimi, and hi, Nancy and Sluggo.
Who's Nancy?
You are.
Oh.
Kevin Payne, 5069, Richmond, Virginia. Stephen Sevchuk, West Orange, New Jersey. 50s are all $50. Peter Hauk in Annerley, Queensland. I really appreciate the Australians coming in here.
Yeah, that's nice to see.
Paul Vella in Buckinghamshire.
What do you think that is? Why is this? I mean, why all of a sudden did they come back? I mean, we haven't done anything.
We did appeal to them every so often.
Is that what it is?
I was taking clips from their stuff, but when I go to the
is it
Australian,
that easy? Are they that shallow?
No, I don't think so. When you go to the Australian Sling Box,
okay,
half of the shows in Australia are American, and they play the Fox network like The Five and all these stupid shows.
Oh.
Full cloth to an Australian audience.
So we're the counterbalance and much needed counterbalance.
Yeah, of the crap that we're sending over there.
Exactly. Well, okay. On behalf of the awakened American spirit, we apologize, Australia. But that's probably Murdoch. It's it's that traitor. He was an Australian. He's a traitor, and he became an American. And we really don't want him
sending American propaganda to
Australia. Just sending. He's that's a true traitor.
Yeah, well, that's what he is. Jason Fortune in Fortune in Geneva, Illinois, and finally Alexander Sukovy in Moscow.
Yes,
$50, and we want to thank them and everyone else who donated even lesser amounts. We have a bunch of requests, including girlfriend getting back his girlfriend, and Stephen, and
I've a quick note of thanks from Jerry Byfield, who sent a challenge coin our way. This is a beautiful one, John.
Did you get two, or did he send me one?
He sent one to the P.O. box, I think. I got mine here. The Los Angeles Air Force Base 61st Mission Support Group.
Ooh, I haven't seen that one.
Beautiful coin. Beautiful. For superior performance. Hey, I received it for superior performance.
Good for you.
Yeah, and he also sent us a $40 check, which is highly appreciated. Oh, and he did want karma, so I'll add that to everyone else. And certainly those who came in under $50. A lot of them by design, I will say, people who do not want to be mentioned specifically. But of course, we highly appreciate the subscriptions, the 5, the 11s, the 12s, certainly the 30s, the 33s. This is your show. No one can shut us down but you. And so far, you want us to keep going, and we're very happy to do that. It's our value for value model. Again, we appreciate it. So here's the karma all of you need and deserve.
You've got karma.
And we will continue with our service to you. And the show's not even over today. We still got plenty of stuff to talk about, which I think far supersedes what you're getting from stuff that you actually are paying for by watching mind-numbing advertising. And I think that
I want to mention something, by the way. I've got 4 challenge coins I'm sending over to you, which are duplicates because they sent me 2.
Yeah.
And I want you to compare that one you think is so beautiful with the F-35 Joint Strike Force fighter challenge coin, which is absolutely stunning.
Wow. But is it for outstanding performance?
For the jet.
I got an email about this, which I want to read. But first,
Dvorak.org/NA.
A reminder to please support us. Keep us going. That's highly appreciated.
It's your birthday on No Agenda.
Krista Hart congratulates himself, turns 24 on the 10th. Richard Haydenberg celebrated his own birthday on August 8th. And Sam Menner says happy birthday to Tay. Happy birthday for all your friends here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
And we have several changes. We have Sir Dwayne Mélenchon, who is now the Duke of Mystery. We have Sir David Foley, Black Baron of Silicon Valley, who now becomes the Earl of Silicon Valley. And if you can grab there you go. And I'll bring my blade out here for a second. We have one knighting to do for Kobe Hung from Hong Kong. Kobe, come on down and kneel before the entire committee, the round table of knights and dames. We hereby pronounce thee very proudly, Sir Hung, Knight of the No Agenda Round Table. For you, I don't know if you need him or not, but hookers and blow, red poison, Chardonnay, hot pants and booze, long-haired heavy metal gods and scotch, wenches and beer, rubinettes, rumen and rosé, geishas and sake, vodka and vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider, and escorts along with mutton and mead for you, sir, for your donation of a minimum of $1,000 to the No Agenda Show. Thank you. It is highly, highly appreciated.
And I want to throw a thank you out there to Dame Melody, Lady of the Loom.
Oh.
Melody,
Yes.
man, she sent you a blanket?
Yeah, well, no, she gave it to us, hand-delivered.
Oh, she hand-delivered. She sent me the blanket. She was looming a second one.
Wait, you got a knitted blanket?
Yeah.
Oh, how awesome is it?
It's great.
I used it, but it is. It's an awesome blanket.
Yeah, no, I want to thank her. It came like last week. And,
wow.
Big giant package. I had to, of course, it's my post office. I have to wait. Right. I go in and out, and then there's no line. Then I pick up the stuff.
Is it the, you're that guy.
Yeah.
And there's a guy's looking at the security camera. Oh, there he is again. He's going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So is it a two-person job like we have?
It's a big blanket.
Yeah, it's nice. So I got this email because we were talking about this. It goes along with the challenge coins. And that, I think you or we were talking about this, and, when people say they think that you and I are doing a great service, and these are the people sitting in sand shooting, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So Vin sent us a note, says, you're doing a great service to our country, even if it is 80% bullcrap. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying even if it was. It is still a great service you are doing, as it is entertaining and makes us think. When I was in the Navy, I would drink with Marines, and they would say they really expected what I did being on a submarine. They really respected what I did being on a submarine, and they could never do that. And I usually replied that I admire what they were doing, as I have a high allergy to lead at high velocities.
Right.
That's a funny note. It's annoying. And we would laugh, and they would say thanks to their taxi drivers and nurses, which is their version of the Navy. And I told them to fuck off and bought them a drink.
Sounds like the Marines and the Navy.
Exactly. Difference between the Marines and the SEALs, they do both. They are death from above and below, land and sea. They do stuff that will stop a man's heart. So I buy them drinks unapologetically, knowing I am completely on the winning side of any potential bar fight as I catch the spin-off of beautiful girls trying to fall in their laps. Anyway, accept the gratuit from the forces freely. By the way, all of the major news outlets are breaking out with Benghazi gun running. Kudos to you for picking up on that early. I know it's just one of many examples where you do so. Keeping up with you via podcast. I was in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, now in Kampala, Uganda. Your African boner, Gitmo boner, residing in Africa, who will redeem himself at a later date. So anyway, it was just really, really nice that, they're saying, hey, everyone contributes in small ways. And,
we appreciate these kinds of commentaries.
And Tristan sent a note, which I did want to mention. Remember the president stumbled and he was talking about a J word, and we didn't know if it was going to be Japan. What was it again? He was talking about.
Yeah, he was talking about I forgot what it was.
Some trouble. Was it drones or trouble?
Trouble. It was trouble.
And Tristan says he thinks the president was going to say Djibouti.
It could be.
Could be.
Adam's gonna read his email on the No Agenda Show.
That's right. That's right. I would like to say a little something about Euroland for a moment.
Oh boy.
Yeah. This is something you probably won't hear, but the European Union passed a law last week, actually, and I didn't even notice it came a little late. It's called the bail-in law. And there's something interesting with this. So this is about banks going kaput. And there has been some rumors that the Deutsche Bank is, on suicide watch and all this stuff. But pretty much, if not underreported, pretty much just not reported at all, is the new bail-in law. And this is your buddies Barroso, Van Rompuy, and the Lithuanian president, I guess, who came out with the new ruling. If a bank fails, let me see, I have it here. No depositor, big or small, will in future be able to feel safe with the money deposited in the bank because hold on a second, where is it? I'm sorry, for some reason the print in this is too small. My glasses are not focusing properly.
Close it up.
Yeah, hold on. No, let me. What I can do is I can make it bigger. It's one of those. It's a PDF that's a scan, and it's not a PDF. It's not a.
I think you still make it bigger.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, but you get the computer freezing on me. Anyway, the gist of it is, I can't give you the exact language here for a second. The gist of it is that just like Cyprus. The creditors and investors in a bank will be paying for the debts if a bank collapses. Now, that is not entirely unexpected because we kind of knew that was going to happen. But what turns out is that this was set up Now, remember when I read the Lisbon Treaty, and it seems like everything's hunky-dory, but you go and you find the protocols, and the protocols is where it says, if you have a communicable disease like the flu, or if you're alcoholic, then you can get locked up forever, and all this crazy crap about the EU, which no one knows about. So they have these directives in the European Union. It's a legal document, and I have this one, the 2012, it's a January, I think it's the 5th or the 15th COD, which is the EU directive. And this is almost a year before the Cyprus bailout. The law that was just created was based upon this directive, which talks about these bail-ins, where in any case, if the institution under resolution fails and does not have sufficient funds to repay depositors, the universality of proceedings ensure the equal treatment of creditors irrespective of their nationality, place of residence, or domicile. In other words, you could conclude that the Cyprus bail-in was a test to see if anyone would really make any waves, and that they were expecting to set this all. It was a setup, essentially.
Yeah, well, didn't we come to that conclusion when the idea first cropped up?
And now we have the proof, because now they have the draft proposal, they have the law, it'll get passed. I mean, I don't even know how they vote on stuff like that, but it'll get passed. And, I think we can see there's a couple Italian banks that are very weak right now. I mean, this is your October thing, John. I think it'll start in Europe.
Well, I'm still hoping we can avoid this October, because that pushes things way off. Yeah, it could. I think they'll weasel their way out of it somehow.
How? I mean, at a certain point, you can't. This whole idea.
Well, that's why you have if you can do it, how is the question? But let's assume it's done with some whatever, some plan or scheme
with herbs.
The idea is to put it off. You have to put a collapse off as long as you can. I mean, especially in today's world, because it would create a
domino effect.
A massive domino effect, which would bring everything to a standstill. I mean, if you think the 2008, 2009 situation,
it's a joke compared to what's really going to happen.
Yeah, because that we essentially clawed our way back with all kinds with essentially printing money.
Yeah. You know what they need to do? You know what they need to do? They need to jigger it. That'll work.
I got another kind of an Ask Adam thing. Here's a little aside.
Okay.
I decided to have a new kind of a new quiz, and what I want you to do is I want you to play two different clips, and I want you to spot the elite. So we're going to play two clips from two different people.
All right.
And of the two people, you have to spot the elite. I have come to the conclusion that the way, because everything's a milieu, and so people kind of talk, they have the milieu speak. They talk they start to develop characteristics of the milieu, and the longer they're in the milieu, the more they talk like it.
Yes.
And so let's play the two clips I got. What does an elite sound like? Question number one. This is a little clip. I'll tell you who it is later, but tell me first you listen to him, then you listen to the next guy, and tell me which of the two is the elite.
It's these opportunities that I want to highlight this morning, along with some of the education reform lessons that we're learning here every day in the U.S. In the digital age, we have game-changing technologies that can help teachers to personalize learning.
Okay, and now I play number two.
Now here's number two.
Is this on? Can you hear me?
It's this guy.
So I'd like to welcome everyone to Brookings. My name is Liaquat Ahmed. I'm a trustee. And we're very honored to have Ambassador Froman with us today. Ambassador Froman just assumed the role of U.S. Trade Representative in June. And before that, he served in the White House as the Assistant to the President and the Deputy National Security Advisor for International Economic Affairs.
Should I be thrown at all, John, by the apparent stick the man has up his arsehole?
I like the way he says the word June. I can't even do that.
June.
Yes, I would say that the trustee in the Brookings Institute
Jigger the June.
Much more likely to be an elite than Arnie Duncan, who can't even pronounce words correctly.
Jigger the June, I tell you.
Our education secretary can't even spell.
This is so much more apparent in Europe. And it's only that you bring this up that I'm thinking about it. How, and also the UK, you know, the mouthful of rocks, the hot potato, and that is the milieu. And in old world is where you see that really, it's much more prevalent, but I think people are immune to it. They're immune. These people have no clue. They're the first ones to die, by the way, in the collapse.
Oh, yeah, no, they're the ones that get their heads chopped off.
Well, if not that, then they're the ones that show up at your door
heads
like,
on the stick.
I don't know how to cook. Help me. Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, so here's my history lesson. I was going to go back to CNN.
This is always a good topic of conversation.
This was really interesting because it relates to Snowden. And this is something that happened in the Nixon White House, 72. Is that possible? Is that I'm just saying this off the top.
Nixon White House would be 70. Yeah, 72. If you're right.
72. And he had, so you know how President Obama, all the presidents have had this, by the way, but most recently President Obama, he's got like Stevie Wonder, like everyone, you know, hanging out. Hey, it's Prince. You know, has Prince ever been there? Prince should be there. Everyone's performing at the White House, you know, which is incredibly elitist. It really is, you know, and it's all.
And they don't have to pay them.
And it's all like Blues Heritage Month, or you know, protect the American Music Society, something or other, and it's just a free concert for elites, is what it is. But this has always been going on, and so now we'll go back to Nixon, a Republican, I believe. 1972, and something wonderful happened, and it was an incident. I'd never heard of it. CNN, thank you, Jeff Zucker, for putting this on CNN last night. I'm sure I was the only person watching, but it was interesting, and I learned something. Play. Why is it not playing? What happened? Hey. Weird.
You didn't learn that much.
No. I'm sorry. Here we go.
And now to commemorate this event, we have as our special guests tonight the Raycon of Singers. It's very difficult to describe them. Most of you have heard them. And if the music is square, it's because I like it square.
By the way, no difference between Obama and Nixon. Always talking himself down. Oh, I'm square. Now, what you're seeing is the Raycon of Singers. Is about 20 beautiful, now imagine 60s, because it's the 70s, but the girls are all like 60s hair, you know, sexy. And they're all coming on stage before Ray Conniff himself comes on stage. And all of a sudden, two of these girls hold up a handmade sign, like made out of a pillowcase.
President Nixon, stop bombing human beings, animals, and vegetation. You go to church on Sundays and pray to Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ were here tonight, you would not dare drop another bomb. Bless the Berrigans and bless Daniel Ellsberg.
Now, do you remember this incident, John?
No, not at all. But I have to say, I can just imagine the meeting afterwards with Nixon, who is a foul-mouthed character.
I have, so, you know, Nixon recorded a lot of stuff. I'm reliably informed. I have a 6-minute phone call, which if you want, it's in the show notes, or we could play it as...
play it now.
Oh, you really want to hear it now?
Well, was it about this incident?
Yes. Well, okay, so did you hear what the girl said at the very end there?
Yeah.
Said, God bless Daniel Ellsberg.
Yeah.
Okay, then just give everyone the relevance, because I'm not sure everybody understands.
Ellsberg is at the time he dropped the Pentagon Papers on the public, and the Nixon administration was going after him in every way possible. And Nixon was always has been recorded a number of times saying, we got to get that son of a bitch Ellsberg. And it's probably even on this clip, I'm sure. And he was just beside himself about these Pentagon Papers. So he was trying to get, the war had been pretty much made to maximize by the Democrats, and Nixon was trying to unwind the damn thing, but he was pulling all kinds of stunts to do it. and he didn't need these distractions. Is the way he saw it.
So there's a couple of things about this clip that we just heard, and so this was on. It was beautiful to see. Where are the artists? Okay, the creative community who stand up to this current president and say, Mr. President, stop the droning, stop the killing, stop killing people and plants and life in general, stop doing it illegally, just stop.
Yeah,
where are they?
We have a couple of bimbos on the Ray Conniff Singers have the guts to do it.
So here is, now you want to hear the meeting. So I guess I'm not sure who he's talking with. Wait, maybe I have it. Hold on a second. Maybe I can tell you who he was talking with. This is a White House phone call, and it's John Connolly, maybe? I don't know who that
would be. John Connolly from Texas.
Okay, yeah, from Texas, correct. So this was the day after, and I guess John Connolly was sick, or his wife was sick and couldn't be there. And here's Nixon talking to him about what happened. It's stop me if it gets boring, but I listened to this. I was just stunned by the conversation. Here's and I think our current president is probably just as bad as this. Here we go. January 29th, 1972.
Oh, if you got a minute, we had, you pick up the paper you're reading, you missed one of the most interesting things. We had the Ray Conniff Singers, and before as they came out on the stage, one girl with hair down to her waist, they're about 16 singers, and they're all pretty girls and nice-looking guys and so forth.
He's a horn dog, too, isn't he? Hello, pretty girls, hair down to her waist, and nice-looking guys, too. He's bisexual, Nixon.
Conniff Singers are kind of square types of it. She stepped out in front of them, I mean, to the shock of everybody, and hung out a homemade sign on cloth saying, "Stop the killing." And she says, "Mr. President, stop the killing. If you believe in Jesus Christ, stop the killing of men and animals and children and Vietnam." And she said, and then she said, "God bless Daniel Ellsberg. God bless the Berrigan brothers," and then stepped back. Well, you can't imagine the shock. You remember the Eartha Kitt thing?
Are you serious?
Yeah. You read it in the Post this morning, and even there, it's and the audience said, well, then what happened is poor Ray Conniff came out and they had their first number, and there was icy coldness. Nobody in that crowd. I clapped, of course, but very good. And Conniff says, "I just want you to know that I didn't plan that first act," and he says, most of us are proud to be here at the White House, and so forth. And then somebody in the crowd, I think it was old Jack Mulcahy, says, "Well, then act like it." And then somebody else back in the room, to my utter amazement, said, "Throw the bum out, throw her out." And then several people said, "Throw her out." So Conniff on his own asked her to leave, and she left.
You don't mean it.
This happened at the White House last night. Now, you tell Nellie what she missed.
That's the damnedest thing.
But can you imagine? I asked Manola, about it. I always he's my man to check. I said, "Manola, what do you think?" He said, "I heard it about in the 7 o'clock news." No.
Now, okay, so now he's going to get really now the foul mouth comes out.
You can pass to Nellie, but clean it up a little. The Spanish have wonderful profanity, and she says she's an hija de puta, and I know what that means. That means a daughter of a whore.
Uh-huh.
And he says, "No, she's worse." She says, "Muchísima puta." She says, "A great big whore." and he said she acted like a streetwalker. Isn't that interesting? But I don't know what the heck they're coming to. But
that's the damnedest thing I ever heard of.
Yeah.
Nellie just threw the paper down and he said, "Tell the president it's a good thing I wasn't there." Said
I'm bored now.
All right, you're bored. I can listen to that stuff forever, so you can't have me cut it off.
It's in the show. What happened with Eartha Kitt, by the way? He referenced something there that I didn't know about either. Eartha Kitt
I recall Eartha Kitt. She was, of course, with a black president. I bet you this wouldn't have happened, but she was extremely outspoken about the war.
Yeah,
and I think it cost her some work.
But what, did she do something at the White House?
Something, maybe. She may have also done something at the White House. You'd have to look it up on the Google.
Yeah. Well, no, you mean the, oops, hold on a second.
The Book of Knowledge. Yeah, it would be in the Book of Knowledge. Someone would put it in her bio.
Let me see. White House. During the administration of Lyndon B. Johnson, Kitt encountered a substantial professional setback This is what. So this is how. Isn't that interesting? You said it cost whatever it was. It cost her some work. So that was the meme that you were programmed with, and that's all that's left over. After she made anti-war statements during a White House luncheon, Kit was invited to the White House luncheon and was asked by Lady Bird Johnson about the Vietnam War. She replied, "You send the best of this country off to be shot and maimed. No wonder the kids rebel and take pot." A newfound respect for Eartha Kitt. So where are these people? No, instead we have Jay-Z and Beyonce blowing the first family. How sad is that, people? Where's Jay-Z, the voice of a generation, standing up and saying, "This is whack, yo"? That's my Jay-Z.
Yeah. It's about as good as it gets.
Instead, they're part of the fascist movement of collusion and collaboration.
Yeah. No, all entertainment, all of Hollywood.
It's disgusting is what it is.
It is. It's totally disgusting. But even back then, there were only a few people. I mean, there was this woman on the Raycon of Singers who probably could track down and find out she was beaten up by somebody afterwards.
She's dead. She's dead, John.
She's dead. And Eartha Kitt, who got lost.
I think she's dead, too. Isn't Eartha Kitt dead?
Well, I think she is dead by now. But that's from old age, not from...
Yeah.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm. Is she dead?
Yeah, she died in December 25th at 81.
Oh.
In 2008.
I remember some of her earlier, well, for me, early stuff. She was, wasn't she Catwoman?
Yeah, she was Catwoman on the Batman show.
Right. And she was always a bit crazy. But was she crazy? No. Turns out she was saying good stuff.
She had a very stylish style of singing, very...
Yes.
Almost like a French chanteuse.
Yeah, she was kind of the original Grace Jones, I would say. What didn't she do? Strange. I've seen that face before.
I don't know, maybe. Anything to get you to stop singing will... yes, it was.
Yes, that would be it. Stop it now. So anyway, this is... Next time you go to download a song from the iTunes or the Amazons, think about these people and where is the protest? Where are the protest songs even? I was talking with someone... One of our new restaurant opened up.
Yeah, really, where are the protest songs?
Well, do you know that it was George Michael, interestingly. I don't even know the name of the song. But he ended his career, and of course, George Michael, a very prolific songwriter, I think one of the best songwriters of my generation. And he did a video where Tony Blair was a lapdog sitting on George Bush's lap. Do you remember that? The first Bush... George W. administration.
I do remember the lapdog.
And it ended his career. And was like, man, you can't do that. That's messed up, yo. And it ended his career. And now he just smokes weed and falls out of his car all the time. But that was the last time I can remember a musician really protesting for real. Like really,
the
really
system is rigged. It's against it. You can't do it anymore.
I'll give it to Kanye West. I remember Kanye West said on TV, "George Bush hates black people." That was funny. I'm like, yes, go Kanye.
But that wasn't a protest. And he also was portrayed as an idiot.
Well, that's the problem. But it doesn't. They portrayed Eartha Kitt as an idiot.
Okay, where's Michael Moore, who receives an Academy Award, and then the next thing you know, he's in front of the huge audience at the Academy Award ceremony bitching about Bush.
Right, and then that ended him for a while.
Well, he got more work. He didn't really end him at all. But once Obama got in, now he just kind of shows up. He doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be complaining so vociferously.
No, and I would say it may be happening, but we're not hearing about it.
Well, that could be true because we've mentioned this on the show. People say, "Oh, the Muslims, they never speak out. They never speak out. They just put up with all this crap," and that's not true. If you really do some digging and you look at some websites, you go out there and the mainstream Muslim community has got all kinds of nasty things to say about the Salafists and the Wahhabists and all the rest of them, and they bitch and moan and groan and nobody cares to pick up on any of it, and we still just only listen to the CAIR operation, which is corrupted, and so we don't pay any attention.
And to be fair, it's not like the protest music isn't being made. It's not like it's not happening. Of course it's happening, and there's tons of it. But there's this obvious segregation of the mainstream. And the thing that I like is we're slowly watching it erode and fall apart around itself. And it's going to take at least another 10 years, unfortunately. But we'll still be around to see it. you see now they're eating themselves. We have this ongoing struggle where CBS is now, we don't have CBS here. CBS has taken off the Time Warner cable system, which means Showtime is gone. And so they're all eating themselves because the whole economic system of advertising and money and just the money system in general is falling apart. It's just falling apart. And at the end of the day, all that'll be left is just the internet and BitTorrent. And us.
Hopefully.
and us. And us.
We win!
Yeah. We'll be standing amongst the rubble. We won! What did we win, really? That's all right. That's all right. At least we had some good times. Good times.
So I ran into an interesting, not that I don't want to keep moaning and groaning about the media.
Oh, come on.
There was a very rare appearance of John le Carré, the spy novelist.
Which novel has he written? Which spy novel?
Well, he wrote Russia House. The ones that made it in the movies: Russia House, Tinker Tailor Soldier, something or other.
Tinker Tailor told Soldier by Curious.
Yeah, that guy, and a lot of them. He used to be with MI5 and then MI6, and then he was apparently going to be outed by Philby, and so he said, "Screw it, I'm going to go become a writer." And so he writes all these spy novels.
All right, here we go. The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, famous.
Yeah, that's his best.
Famous. The Deadly Affair, Call for the Dead, The Looking Glass War, Little Drummer Girl, Russia House, Tailor of Panama, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and those are the big ones.
So he doesn't really do a lot of TV, and every time he does, he says, "This is the last time I'm ever doing TV."
Right.
So this time they tricked him by putting him on the radio, but filming it
with a webcam.
No, it was well produced. The video, it's on his website because he's got a new book out. But I listened to the whole thing. It was an hour. It's very entertaining, at least to me. And they asked him a specific question about how hard is it to recruit spies and why is it easy or hard or whatever. And he lays out a little explanation, which I think was very interesting. But in there, he also has a gaffe where he tells the kind of, leaves a little truth on the table and then corrects himself and then goes on with the explanation. The gaffe is definitely interesting, but the overall explanation is actually even more interesting.
Is your proposition that we could, in the right circumstances, all be spies? Or is it, as I had perhaps taken a bit from your work, particularly the earlier work, a sort of type of person who's attracted to it?
Well, I think there are all sorts of factors at fault, at work. There are all sorts of factors at work. In this country, still...
What did he say?
He says there's all sorts of factors at fault.
Huh.
I think there are all sorts of factors at fault, at work. There are all sorts of factors at work. In this country, still, amazingly, if you bang on the door of the average householder and say, "I work for British intelligence, we need to use your top floor to look out of the window, can't tell you why," most people say, once they're satisfied by your identity, "Okay, go upstairs. Don't mess with my daughter's room," or something of that. But we, all of us, instinctively incline towards the conspiratorial moment and, quite simply, the patriotic moment. We do have it. So the Brits are very easily recruited, and it goes right back to imperial times when we had the thin red line of the East India Company and so on. We had to learn to divide princes against one another, and we lived in a world of deceit. Add to that the public school system, and you have a complete conspiracy.
Wow.
Yeah, I just thought that was a great clip.
Hold on. What happened? Should there be more?
No, that's it.
You sure that was the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
He says the public school system, that's the complete conspiracy. Boom. Fini.
I have a feeling that if I had had any type of academic prowess, which I did not, I probably would have gotten a recruitment visit.
Yeah, probably.
And now I think they're really happy. Like, oh.
Yeah, God. Is that crazy guy? We dodged a bullet.
Woo! All right. I'm out. How are you?
I've got some stuff on Africa that I would like to push to the Thursday show.
Yeah, because you had a whole thing for the show notes, which I've put in there. But is this a economic hitman thing?
The economic hitman. Oh, I did get some. We got a little back and forth going with the economic hitman, who has some thoughts. Apparently, him and his girlfriend, and they don't like Russia very much. And so I sent him some clips of it. If people out there want to have some fun, go to Best of Russian dash cam videos. I'll put a couple in there. In the newsletter, I'll link to 2 or 3 of these, which are the best ones, which you really have to be careful. Take some heart medicine before you watch these videos.
You mean this is where everyone's dodging a bullet, basically?
Essentially, yeah. There's just cars being smashed and drunks everywhere walking across the freeway plastered.
Yeah.
And then getting hit.
Yeah, I love the trucks that overturn onto people and stuff. It's pretty funny.
There was one I have to say, in this one clip, which I actually sent to our friend, where I swear this is weird. It was like a big giant truck van. It was like a 1-trailer van thing. And a truck driving, and a little BMW, like it was a 3 Series or something. And the BMW lost control and somehow slammed into the side of this truck, and the truck flipped over and over. And the BMW just sat there. Didn't even look like it was damaged.
Wow.
It should have been a commercial for BMW. It could have been fake. Whatever the case, we'll put that on Thursday's agenda. I think we've got plenty of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's always stuff to talk about. Jeez.
Well, let's play here's a little thing, a good example of these idiots that are out there, trying to cause trouble. And this is about the gays and their protests about the Olympics. And this is the Boycott Russian Vodka, a local story.
Boycott Russian vodka! What?
Protesters dumping a lot of Russian vodka in front of San Francisco City Hall today, and they want all of you to know that you should be boycotting Russian products, they say. Why? Because of new Russian laws that are anti-gay, including one that makes it illegal to talk to children about homosexuality. These protesters took aim at Stoli.
That's the only law, by the way.
But there's a twist here. The vodka company issued a letter last month emphasizing the brand doesn't follow the Russian laws, and it has even sponsored gay events for years.
They won't anymore.
So this is happening everywhere. This was they were doing this when we were in Amsterdam at the bars there. Like, I won't order Russian vodka. But of course, every leader has said, and Stephen Fry, by the way, who of course he posts an open letter to the Prime Minister in The Guardian. So here is the clearly on board with the program, because Stephen Fry is an intellectual and he can read, and he can certainly have someone translate the Russian, so he knows that this is not a pure law that says if you're gay, you're like Hitler. However, he invokes Godwin's law, which look that up in the Book of Knowledge. That is ultimately how you end every conversation. Just throw Hitler in and you end everything. But let me say something about Russia. Russia, the age of consent in Russia, this is from what I understand, is 16 years old, regardless of sexual orientation. Transsexuals, transgendered persons are allowed to change their gender legally. Homosexuality not regarded as a mental illness like many other places, not a criminal offense. Single persons can adopt children regardless of their sexual orientation. Try that in America. It is not like a given. Homosexuals can serve in the armed forces without any type of don't ask, don't tell, or any type of restriction. This is a propagandistic move which really distracts you from looking at, I don't know, killing people with drones. Jeez.
Drawing attention to Putin.
Did you see
Putin that gets in trouble?
Did you see what Putin did? Is a great video. His I guess his judo teacher, his judoka, died.
Yeah.
And he's distraught by this. And so they have video of him coming out of I guess the church or whatever, and and they're ready to hold open the door to his limo, and he's like, no. And because he needs to walk alone, and he's going to walk home to think about, to reflect.
While the limo follows behind, kind of thing.
No, you've got to see this video because of course, it's obvious they've blocked off the street. So he's walking down this huge street, no one's on it but him.
Yeah,
and then they've got the camera angle down on the street, pointing up at him as he does a walk by. I mean, the whole thing is orchestrated, but it made him look like I'm reflecting. I'm troubled by my mentor having passed. It's like, really? I mean, do people actually fall for this?
I bet they do. They fall for what we're doing here.
So
we don't want to listen in on your conversation.
But here's my prediction. My prediction is, after all the vodka protests and everyone's, let's boycott the Olympics, which is a big joke. The IOC has more power than the president. That's the biggest money operation. Organized money operation.
Olympics, and you're never going to see another Olympics in the United States.
No,
ever.
You get shot is what happens. You boycott the Olympics. That's not going to happen. So I have a prediction. We're all going to change our Twitter icons.
It's not much of a prediction.
Come on,
at the drop of a hat.
Come on, put it in the book.
Well, the thing is, what the prediction is, if you could actually predict what color, pink.
Pink, yeah.
But that's a breast cancer thing now, so that's been usurped.
Well,
so
maybe
it's got to be a new color.
Maybe
rainbow?
maybe we need to we need to create one that people can use. We have to hand it to them. A rainbow hammer and sickle or something like that.
The icon changing is just the color. They got to come up with a color.
Color? Okay. How about mauve? Purple. Mauve.
Puce.
Hey, everybody, we got the No Agenda Producers Update coming up on the stream right after we're done here, and we highly appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. We love doing it. Support us in our value for value model. Keep us going. There is some actual work involved in doing this. Go to Dvorak.org/NA. And coming to you from the heart of the false flags of the week in the 6-week schedule, Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where I am in Northern Silicon Valley, but no false flags here, I'm John C. Dvorak.
That you know of. We'll talk to you on Thursday, right here on No Agenda.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA